customer, and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. So call today at 913-359-8627.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? Mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa.
As the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810, WHB. Super Bowl 55, Sunday at 5 p.m. on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. Isn't this a sports show?
The bigger news of the day, though, is something that was taking us over an hour to get to because, ta-da, two thumbs pointing at this show.
Almost entirely.
I started a website, PatrickMahomesPictures.com. Are you Googling PatrickMahomesPictures.com? It's available!
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I don't have to talk entirely sports for 2 hours. I talk almost entirely sports for 2 hours a day.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
We don't have to do what you tell us to. We do what we want. You can't stop us.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
These 2 weeks have already felt like some sort of eternity, but today, for a reason I think I will actually be able to put my finger on, today felt like the end of Super Bowl week and like the beginning of the Super Bowl coming just around the corner. We'll talk about that over the course of the next 3 hours here on Almost Entirely Sports. I'm Joshua Brisco. Rudy Salazar in the studio. Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. 2 Buccaneers contacts on the show today. We'll talk to Zach Goodall of All Bucs on Sports Illustrated at 9. And then Randy Grimes, former Buccaneers center, will join the show at 10 o'clock. So we got a lot of Bucs. We got plenty of Bucs to give on tonight's show. And don't worry, I'm not too concerned about this being too Buccaneer heavy, because I think the three of us here will be able to do just enough, I think, to kind of hold it down from the Chiefs side of things. But the thing that I thought was interesting today, and nobody at 810 has been more buried in audio this week than Rudy Salazar. So Rudy, I'll take your feeling on this in a little bit. But the stories of, especially this week, going back to Monday, we've gotten Andy Reid, I think, every day. Patrick Mahomes, I think, every day. Like 9 players most days. That first Monday was absolute chaos. So many guys talking, so many reporters, so many Zoom calls. And it's just layer on layer on layer of legacy, dynasty. What's your favorite music to listen to? And what's your favorite flavor of cheesecake or whatever? But you just get, it's been a little less sort of wacky this year in a lot of ways, I think, because things have been kind of streamlined, weirdly enough, but, you know, all within the scope of the pandemic. But we've had all these conversations. We've asked so many questions. We've talked to everyone from Patrick Mahomes to Chad Henne to Mike Rimmers, like everybody, Andrew Wiley. Everybody's had a little bit of time at the podium. Today, Andy Reid talked, and someone else pointed this out on Twitter, and it got me thinking. I don't remember who posted it, but it got me got me kind of pondering a little bit about it, and then I heard everything else from this point forward from Andy Reid a little bit differently. Today sounded like the Fast Friday Andy Reid. Fast Fridays, if you're not familiar, is this was more the case whenever we were doing it in person, but also true to some extent on Zoom, true to some extent today on a, I don't know, not thorough Thursday. That's as good as I can get on the spot. But you go out and you stand around Andy Reid for him to talk for 2.5 minutes because he's ready to take on the challenge of whoever's up next. And today, Andy Reid still took a bunch of questions and still talked for a decent amount of time, but it was I believe the 4th consecutive day we've gotten something from Andy Reid, and there was a little less in terms of kind of engaging with all of the storylines and, I think, Bruce Arians does a great job, coach. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what's different than last time. Tom, all of those things felt like they were maybe kind of sliding down a little bit as Andy Reid and really everyone on this Chiefs team is focusing more, honing more in on the fact that these next couple of days are all they've got. There's no more room to prep from this point forward. And we still got some good audio today. Travis Kelce said a few interesting things. Chris Jones had a couple of good bites. Tyreek Hill had a fun dismount, and his whole presser was all over the place. The players, I don't want to say they were like tense, because I don't think that's true. But Andy Reid just seemed like he had gotten into Friday mode on a Thursday, and they're in road game mode because they got to go to Tampa. They're not flying out until Saturday. And you just have all these moving parts all together. And we've just indulged, it feels so deeply into all of the different angles of all of the different storylines. And I imagine that between tonight's show, tomorrow night's show, I'm doing overnight pregame on Saturday, Sunday morning pregame. I'm confident that somewhere in the next dozen hours of radio that I've still got on the menu from now up until kickoff, that, somewhere in there I'll talk about Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. What does it mean for their legacies once again? I'm sure we'll do that. We might do that again later tonight because I do think it's genuinely interesting and something that I don't think we'll ever see in quite this way, maybe for the rest of our lives, much of anywhere in sports where you have such a clear moment of old guard, new guard, who's going to walk away with the lasting memory of winning that head-to-head matchup. It's fascinating, but we've also talked about that a lot. And today felt a little more like, what we're doing? We're out here preparing for the Buccaneers because we have a football game coming. This whole week has been a lot of circus work. Been a lot of trapezes, some acrobatics. We've been all over the place this week. But now it's back into game mode. They did the same thing they did last year, which is, the first week of the bye, essentially, for the 2-week span of the Super Bowl. The first week is when they do the installs and whatnot and try to get the game plan pretty much locked into place. I know there's still a lot of other things they're tinkering with and getting more comfortable with some things. Patrick Mahomes at one point this week talked about how on Saturday night he'll be laying in bed visualizing the plays, which is a real thing that people do. I don't really know how that works, but I'm not the right person to ask in terms of, clearing your mind for optimal performance. Just not the right person for that, probably. There's still stuff they've done this week they'll continue to do into the weekend. But they had a week of game mode, and then this week has just been a lot of talking while they're doing all the practicing under the cover of darkness. Today, moving inside for practice because it's snowing here, even though it's going to be sunny in Tampa. But it kind of felt like a little final shift. There's no pressers tomorrow. There's no pressers on Saturday. It feels like we've really finally shifted into game mode. And to be honest, and again, Rudy, I know you've been neck deep in audio all week. To be honest, I was ready for it. Maybe I'm even projecting, but I feel good about the fact that we can look at some matchups and that we are closer, not quite landed yet, but we're closer to the actual game around the corner, because it's also a game that's super interesting and some of the most like bread and butter on the field matchups. So we're not gonna be left wanting for storylines.
For sure. I would say for me, I'll probably be there like shortly around like after 10 a.m. tomorrow, and that's just largely because most people who are listening probably know that I'm filling in on the Border Patrol, and obviously as with Super Bowl, with Radio Row, Josh, you'll understand this. You record a lot of things, and you can't play everything at once. So there is still like a little bit the early tomorrow that will kind of still feel a little bit like media day, right? Because even though the players aren't talking, there are other people who are either former Chiefs or former Bucks or nobody really associated with the teams themselves right now, but you still got those like conversations. But for me though, without a doubt, like after 10 a.m. when it's like I'm done with that part of it and it's like the Radio Row parts out of the way, then it's like okay, like it'll feel like it's game mode, like it's time to go.
Yeah. The Radio Row part is a good call. There's a total other wrench in the system for all of us.
That really only applies though, again, really to us personally. Like
right.
if you're somebody listening at home, then I think you're completely spot on. And even if you're not, because it's definitely different now. So like, even if you work obviously in radio, it's not that it doesn't now all of a sudden. Not that it isn't starting to feel like the game's getting ready to go, because it definitely is. There's just a little, like for us, just a few more like little things that it's like you still have like almost a miniature media day to an extent.
Yeah, because the Radio Row element and all the media availabilities and all of that chaos is very much a part of the celebration of the Super Bowl,
for sure.
But it's very rarely about the game itself. Like,
absolutely.
We had, I was really, really happy with how our conversations with Mike Golick and Scott Graham went yesterday. If anybody missed it, you can go check out the podcasts.
Just tune in for Scott Graham's voice.
It's great. It's absolutely worth it just for that.
It kills me every time listening to it because I'm like, I know that voice. And I'm just transported back to working on the weekend.
And again, like really, I think the main thing, Beards, you're kind of getting at is like hearing Scott and me was sort of just like hearing Scott talk to himself in terms of just like baritone voice quality.
I mean, that's not what I was thinking, but if you want to think that, that's fine.
But it was, though, in its own kind of unique and special way. I think it was.
Very unique.
Yeah. Fair enough. But like I was really happy with both of those segments. And I don't think that every interview with just like, a famous person ends up being good content. Because I think I'm very, to be honest, I'm very pleased and quite proud with how we've made all of that work over just the course of this show's existence. I don't think we've had a whole lot of stinkers, and I feel pretty good about that. But not every time it's just like, all right, here's, famous person on radio show. Sometimes the vibe doesn't really work. Golick and Scott Graham were both excellent.
Yeah.
But I got to the end of the conversation with Scott, and we're on a first-name basis now. And I realized like his time was essentially up, and we had spent a few extra minutes on him getting replaced by Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg that I didn't get to ask him about, what he learned talking to Bruce Arians this week. It's like, oh yeah, well, if you had more time, and if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, yada yada yada, then we could have gotten more into the game. But it's about the pageantry of it all. And I think at least for me, maybe today was kind of shifting into that next gear. I also need to mention this off the top because I do not want to let this slide by. All of our live coverage from Radio Row yesterday, Mike Golick and Scott Graham. And today we're going to go down to Tampa twice. Once to Radio Row in the traditional sense, because we've got two Tampa-based guests, but not both of them are again on Radio Row. We'll go to Tampa to talk to Zach Goodall of All Bucs about everything going on with everything in Tampa, and we'll get into some of the matchups. We'll also go down to Radio Row to talk to Randy Grimes, former Buccaneers center, and all of our live Radio Row coverage here on Sports Radio 810 is brought to you by Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, Tickets for Less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City. And I'm going to mention that a couple more times tonight because I do not want to leave any of those excellent sponsors hanging, and it's been great to be able to talk to the people that we've talked to so far this week. But with all that being said, there are a couple of pieces of audio that have come from different days this week. Not all of this was from today. In fact, some of it was from yesterday, some of it was from 2 days ago. But there is one particular narrative that I'm feeling I'm feeling pretty good about. I feel like Ryan Tracy on the show last night gave me a little bit of permission to continue to feel better and better about this thing. Seth Kaiser has done this over the course of the week. Let's do this. I want to go to the audio. Beards, I got the master list figured out. We've got 50,000 pieces of audio, but I want to start at the top of our little bullet point list there in the Google Doc, because what I think is going to be such a tremendous factor in this game is something that we haven't necessarily spent a reasonable amount of time in relation to how impactful it's going to be discussing. We've talked about the Chiefs' offensive line. We've talked about both pass rushes. We've talked about both quarterbacks and both tight ends and all these weapons and everything. But I think maybe the most important development that we've gotten from the Chiefs this year, especially later in the year, has been from the secondary and has been from Juan Thornhill. We've talked about Thornhill a good amount the last couple of weeks because Seth was as thrilled with this tape against the Bills as anybody. But I want you to hear how Thornhill talked about the defensive backs, both each of them individually and then also this unit cohesively, because I think it unlocks what's going to be a tremendous key to this game.
See, like with our coaches, we don't call ourselves safeties and corners. We call ourselves DBs. So if our coach needs us to play nickel, corner, safety, it really doesn't matter because we all can cover just as well. And I think that Beach and his guys made a good choice in bringing all of these guys and keeping these guys here together. Because like if you can cover receivers and tight ends, like I mean that just makes your group very elite. And I just feel like all of our guys have that capability to cover whoever.
So what that does is it says something about each of these guys individually, and it says even more about the unit as a whole. And I would understand if you thought, "Oh, Josh, that's pretty narrow. You've kind of found a splinter in this plank of wood. Why is that the thing that has you so intrigued?" Maybe it's because we talked about everything else, but the fact that they genuinely, I have no reason to think this isn't the God's honest truth, that they genuinely have that kind of faith in all of these defensive backs to do so many things in so many different roles. It shows you what they're able to show opposing quarterbacks and why it can make everyone from, a younger guy like Josh Allen to a guy like Tom Brady, who's been around for 1,000 years. You're going to be able to show them things they're not expecting. You're going to be able to show them something before the snap that then turns into something else. I don't think Spags is going to stump Brady with some math problem he's never seen before. I don't really think that Tom Brady can be stumped that way. But if he can hesitate, that's enormous. But the second thing that I think what Thornhill says there really translates to is what that says about each of those players individually. The Chiefs are really out here with undrafted free agent Charvarius Ward. Obviously, he's been in the league now for several years since then, but he was an undrafted free agent. And then with Bashad Breeland, a guy who's had, I think now 3 straight one-year contracts. With L'Jarius Sneed, a rookie, a 4th-round draft pick. With Rashad Fenton, 6th-round draft pick last year. Even at safety, I mean, Dan Sorensen's not exactly a household name. Thornhill, we just heard from, had a really wonderful rookie season, but for the better part of this year especially, I would say through this regular season, he didn't look like the guy that he was in his rookie year, making problems for defenses. And Tyrann Mathieu is a household name at this point. I won't try to give the Chiefs credit for, finding him off of the scrap heap, but also his contract's not like crazy, and that addition has obviously brought huge dividends.
And his fit in the system is as well as a safety can fit in this system. Like he's a great player, but they got the best safety for Spags to have to utilize.
Speaking exactly to Thornhill's point, absolutely. Because what you find from, and really to some extent this is true for Sorensen, who I think does maybe everything a little worse than Matthew. Maybe he's really close in terms of some of the box safety stuff, and the deep safety stuff's not even close. But yeah, absolutely, Rudy, 100% agree.
Sorensen's been in the league for as long as he has, in part because he's a Chief, and by that I mean that the Chiefs have largely run a system that does that has typically gotten the most out of him. Now there have been some years where they've essentially been like, hey, you might be one of our 3 best defenders, so we need you to do a lot.
Yep.
And that's always going to lead to disaster, but that's not his fault. If he's one of the 5 best defenders on the team, it's not his fault that he's one of the 5 best. But in the years in which they've had actual, especially in the safety department, like depth there, and had him playing a role that again utilizes him to the best of his abilities, you know what? That's how we see him, make plays at the end of games. Now he's always going to make plays that just kind of make you want to wonder why he's out there. But the Chiefs have put him in a situation to where, you live with some of that because he's going to make plays that actually, that impact the game in a big way.
And that has value. And the versatility that he brings has value, as does Matthews, as does Thornhill, as does all of those corners. And so the fact that, again, I really think there are 2 enormous takeaways from that, which is 1, the faith in the unit, and then 2, the faith in each and every one of those guys individually to line up across from, in this case, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, maybe to some extent, Rob Gronkowski and Cameron Brate. Brate was a limited participant today. I do want to note that with a back. Sounds like that was very precautionary. It would certainly be a blow to the Bucs to not have Brate out there. But to believe that pretty much any of those guys can cover pretty much any of those guys is something that would cost so much to do, like financially, like cap space or draft capital. It would cost so much to be able to say, we got 3 number 1 corners. Well, if you've got the system and the versatility that Thornhill talked about there, that Spags has installed, if you have the system to end up with that same end result, but for no first-round picks, for no sizable contracts, that is a cheat code in the sport. And honestly, again, I was on just an hour before the show tonight. I was doing a radio hit in Chicago, and I was making this point there and trying to kind of make it to a crew that isn't following the Chiefs obsessively, like I am, like all 3 of us are, like most people listening are. I have been worried about the Chiefs secondary. Not since this offseason, when they didn't draft one in the 1st or 2nd round like I wanted them to. Not since last season. Not since before Bob Sutton's final season. I have been stressed out about the Chiefs finding the right group of corners and the right number 1 corner since they traded Marcus Peters. When did that happen? Marcus? I'm going to have to search Marcus Peters Chiefs trade. It's not even the most recent Marcus Peters.
After the 2017 season?
March 2018.
So yeah, in between the 17 and 18 season, because I knew he obviously wasn't there for the AFC Championship game the last year of Bob Sutton. I was pretty sure that was the first year he wasn't there.
I've been asking for the Chiefs to do something about the cornerback position. I'm not like texting Brett Veach, but you know what I mean. I'm going, man, I really don't like this whole David Amerson strategy. I really don't need more Orlando Scandrick in my life. He certainly could tackle.
David Amerson was great at tackling the receiver after he caught the ball on him.
And he kept his socks on. He kept his socks on, and they all got along with Bob Sutton, which is clearly the most important thing. But this is not me sort of like being bummed by the Marcus Peters trade a billion years later now.
You are. Don't worry. Don't lie.
I mean, yeah, sure. In some ways, and then also that pick turned into one Thornhill on a rookie contract. So I'm really not I'm not dying out here. But the point of the reason I bring up Marcus Peters is because since the second week of March in 2018, I've been kind of nervous about the Chiefs secondary, and we're now at a point where they did not draft any of the guys that we all were circling. Who was L'Jarius Sneed? He was playing safety at La Tech. He's the corner that's going to come in and save everything? And the answer was kind of, yeah. Charvarius Ward was in the Parker Anger trade. Bashaud Breeland was in training camp, but didn't sign. and then was in camp and signed a 1-year deal, and then had an offseason issue and signed another 1-year deal. Rashad Fenton was a 6th-round draft pick. We have a whole liner devoted to me talking about how, everybody gets aroused for the mid and late round draft picks, and really the draft is in many ways a bit of a crapshoot. Well, the Chiefs keep rolling. I don't know what is good in craps. Have you guys ever played craps? I haven't.
I think
No.
7
it's like Snake Eyes or 7. I feel like
they've been rolling the good dice.
Yeah, I know 7 is like ultimately what you want to get, but you also don't want to get 7 like too early, if I remember right. Like you want to get like whatever other number you're going for. I may be a little off here. I have like the very basic. Like so I think if you're putting like your deals on like 6 or whatever, you want to roll a couple 6s to like build up equity, and then you want to hit like a 7 to get said equity.
If anyone is thinking, I'll text them the rules of craps, don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's
fine.
basically that.
I don't think that it is within this show's character to know how to play craps. You know what I mean?
I don't have much interest.
I don't even really want to know the truth to be honest. Like I'd rather just sort of only kind of have a loose. There are dice, and I think that it includes the phrase "crap out," which I think is pretty good.
Ooh, Ice Pyro just said Rudy is right.
Wow. Look at that.
Heck yeah. I'm trying to remember how I learned this. It was definitely a TV show or a movie. I just don't remember what.
When you lose, do you have to say, "Aw, crap"?
Whoa, hey, Beard, stump that, dude. We're on the radio. What are you doing? Language.
Aw, shucks.
We're streaming on video platforms.
There are kids on Twitch right now.
The game is called Hex, as far as radio is concerned.
No boy, Josh. I don't know if you've seen the Twitch. It hasn't felt right to like necessarily pop in, but Twitch is popping.
Really?
Twitch is popping.
I honestly forgot to open the caster. I'm not in studio today because now I'm back on the COVID.
People are wondering
list.
if you have made Elsa angry again because you've been turned into a tiny snowman. They're also wondering if this is like kind of a Chucky situation.
Yeah.
And then Darth Maul Dad says the same doctor that put the diamond in Uzi Vert's head turned Josh into a snowman.
Yeah, I also like that. I like all of those. I hadn't seen any of those, but yeah, you can watch the show. You want to talk about a visual joke in an audio medium? You can watch the show in the Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch pages. I am just a paper face on a snowman with a microphone in front of me, though. So theater of the mind.
Ice Pyro asks if you can play craps as a snowman.
I can't play craps as a human.
Great point.
So probably not. Unless snowmen are really good at playing craps for some reason. Excuse me, Hex.
I mean, how do you think Frosty got that top hat?
He won it by gambling?
Probably.
Didn't he come to life because he did get it by dark magic?
That stuff doesn't come cheap. Dark magic always has a price.
The souls of children.
So go to the craps table.
Hold on. Listen, I know we're having a lot of fun here, but isn't the whole point of Frosty the Snowman that he got the magic hat from from basically the origin story of the movie Joker, but with the magician? And then that brought him to life because it had some sort of dark magics in it? Is that not?
And then you have to pay back the dark magic. So you go to the craps table to get that money. Dark magic doesn't come free, man. This ain't a fairy tale. This is real life.
Your contention right now is that Frosty the Snowman is not a fairy tale and is real life.
I mean, I saw the live action movie. You telling me that wasn't real?
They made a live action Frosty?
Yeah,
I just remember the cartoon.
It was a horror movie too.
Oh no, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was called.
Oh
Jack Frost.
Jack Frost with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
That's not what I was thinking.
I
was thinking of Frosty the Snowman.
It was not. It did not go well.
Here's
it did not go well.
Here's some news from July 2020. Huh.
Prime Frosty the Snowman season?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me. Jason Momoa to voice Frosty the Snowman in live-action pick for Warner Bros. And Stampede Ventures.
I forgot that this was happening.
Interesting.
Warner Bros. And Stampede Ventures have set up Frosty the Snowman, a live-action film that will see Aquaman star Jason Momoa voicing the iconic snowman.
Mm-hmm. I totally forgot about this. You know what else they're making into a live-action movie?
Rudolph.
Rugrats. I don't know how you do that, and I'm terrified.
I'm not a huge fan of that, to be honest.
I loved Rugrats the show. I don't know how you make that a live action movie. That's honestly terrifying.
So some people who worked on Elf are working on this. And Momoa will embody a CGI Frosty in the hybrid CG/live action film.
Go look up the I guess the cover of Jack Frost, like the DVD cover.
Yeah, it's
so
bad.
like I want
it's bad
this.
To look at.
Yeah, I saw this just the cover in a movie or not a movie theater, like in a Blockbuster or movie rental store when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sleep well for a while.
Yeah, no, I remember. I think this was on TV at my parents over Christmas, and I did not want to watch it.
The cover of the sequel is even worse. Jack Frost 2: Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman.
Wow, that's real, huh?
Mm-hmm.
See if I can get this pulled up on.
I mean, that
video
definitely
real quick.
can't be. There's no way Michael Keaton is in this. Basically,
He was not in either of them.
Michael Keaton was in Jack Frost. Wasn't he in Jack Frost?
Nope.
Isn't that what I said?
You did, but he is not. Christopher Allport was the star. Also was the debut of Shannon Elizabeth, who went on to do such movies as Scream and American Pie.
I think Michael Keaton is.
Oh wait, is he? Oh, I'm just
In
looking
the
at
poster for Jack Frost says Michael Keaton at the top of the poster.
I put the Jack Frost 2 image up on the video feed, by the way.
The only cover I've seen is the DVD cover. Maybe he was Jack Frost because it just says starring, and on the Wikipedia page, it's not the IMDb page, and his name is not on there.
So
let me go to the
Jack
IMDb
Frost
page.
2.
Maybe
Jack Frost 2: Revenge of the Mutant Killer.
Was he Jack Frost?
Maybe,
Ooh.
probably.
I bet he was Jack Frost.
Is a 2000 American direct-to-video comedy slasher film.
Yep, he was Jack Frost.
Oh, wait a second. Nope. Hang on. There is another Jack Frost movie in
this is-
1998 that
Yes.
was a comedy that had Michael Keaton as well as, let's see, Kelly Preston was in it.
Yeah, so this is Jack.
I remember trailers for this when I was little.
This was
Oh
actually.
wow, the
this-
other Jack
yeah.
Frost, like the horror
Yeah.
series,
No,
is
so the movie you're
uncomfy.
talking about was the prequel, right? Like Jack Frost is this friendly,
No.
he's Frosty.
No.
And
No,
then
there are
Frosty,
two- no,
and then Frosty
absolutely not.
loses the family that he loves, and he becomes, that killer mutant snowman. It's
no,
a trilogy.
unfortunately, that's not the. That's
Every
not
good
the case.
movie series comes in a trilogy, and this is how you should watch it, and this is how you should consume it.
So there was a Jack Frost comedy slasher film,
Mhm.
and then there's Jack Frost 2: The Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman,
Yes.
and then there's also Jack Frost starring Michael Keaton.
The prequel.
Not related.
There
in
was
franchise
there was
terms.
supposed to be a Jack Frost 3, but it got canceled. Also, speaking of canceled, Sean on the AES Facebook page says the live-action Rugrats movie is not happening.
Is it not
Thank
happening
God.
now? That would have been terrifying.
We didn't need that, man.
Yeah.
That's fine. We've been through enough already, just sort of collectively.
But
as
seriously,
people.
if you decide like, hey, Christmas comes around and you want to watch some Jack Frost, watch the Jack Frost trilogy. It may not be a trilogy. Approach it as a trilogy. You'll enjoy it so much more.
Yeah, I don't want to watch.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch Jack Frost 2.
Just think about at the end of the 1998 Jack Frost, he loses the family that he loves, and that's how then Michael Keaton becomes a killer snowman.
You can get a double feature or straight to DVD: Jack Frost 2: Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman, and then you can also get Ice Cream Man. You scream, we all scream for the Ice Cream Man.
I forgot about that movie.
Did you know about that movie?
I did. I remember that. I don't think I ever saw it, but I remember that box. Again, like walking through like a Blockbuster, I absolutely remember like seeing that, like the cover to that movie. 100%.
I really thought we were going to get through more than one piece of One Thornhill Sound this segment. I really did.
Darn
But
you,
I'm not in the
Twitch.
studio, and my face is on a snowman body. So this is just sort of where we end up on. Ice Pyro said, how do we get on this subject 3 days before the Super Bowl? That's exactly the question I was asking. But it's that I'm not in studio because I'm waiting on a COVID test for the second time now. And back working from Brisco Home Studios Incorporated. And so that means that I've been replaced in the Twitch and Facebook and YouTube feed with a snowman with my face on it.
To be fair, we did pretty good, I thought. We lasted a while.
Yeah, and I've got like 1,000 other pieces of audio. In fact, I'll probably do another one whenever we come back. More from Juan Thornhill, I would even say. We'll see if I can hold up that promise whenever we come back.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Hey, Kansas City, this is Steven St. John. Are you still looking for a great Valentine gift for your special someone? Then give her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas available exclusively from our friends at Pajamagram.com. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own soft skin. She'll love slipping these on every night all year round because the texture and touch of naturally nude pajamas is so soft and luxurious, they'll melt away her stress. She'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. I know I love the way they look. Check them out at Pajamagram.com. And best of all, every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, which means you don't have to wrap a thing. So get her naturally nude pajamas and get your free gift packaging today. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast and it's easy, and delivery by Valentine's Day is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com. And please tell them Steven St. John sent you.
Your money management is now manageable. With an account from Central Bank, you'll have all the tools and technology you need to move, manage, and maximize your money the way you want, when you want. And you have the perk of local branches right in your community when you need some one-on-one time. Because we do banking better. Open your account online or in person at any of our convenient locations. Central Bank. Strong roots. Endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV?
I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price?
You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code LOVE for a 50 cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code LOVE. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code LOVE. That's LOVE. Visit getupside.com for terms.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Tim Grunhard. I love being a part of a winning team. If you're looking for a great place to work and want to help children and families find hope and joy, the Kids TLC in Olathe is hiring team players. Visit kidsdlc.org and attend one of the upcoming recruiting events. Come join the Kids TLC team for a game-changing career move. Visit kidstlc.org for more information.
Hey, listen up, guys. I don't know about you, but I know Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and if I want to have a great Valentine's Day, I got to make sure I take care of my wife. You know what I do? I get her beautiful flowers. Flowers from Pro Flowers. They're absolutely stunning. They're the highest quality flowers, freshest, smell wonderful, look even better. That's why I go to Pro Flowers. Go right now to proflowers.com. Use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O. You can save 20% on your next purchase. That's right. Save 20% on your next purchase from Pro Flowers. All you got to do is go to proflowers.com. Check out the huge selection of flowers. She's got a favorite color. She's got a favorite flower. You're going to find it at Pro Flowers. Make sure you use that promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at proflowers.com to save the 20%. Listen, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and if you don't come home with a great gift, then you're going to be in trouble. Don't do that. Get the flowers at Pro Flowers. Clickety, click, click, click. It's that easy. Proflowers.com. Use the promo code PETRO to save 20%.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
I welcome your silliness and I refuse your illogical nature. Shut up, chicken! Chicken! Swear to chicken.
With Joshua Brisco.
I don't care about the first 3 weeks of next year. The playoffs are so much more important. I can't believe you don't even know what a Haglund's deformity is. I'm glad you're a dead chicken. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
a good 30 to 45 seconds before coming back from break, I saw on the Twitch, just in the corner of the feed, I saw Beards just with a bleep-eating grin. And I knew the liner was going to be something that he was pretty pleased with. But that is how little it takes for me to know that Beards is tipping his hand. I saw like 7 pixels, Beards, showed me that something was coming in the liner, and it was the zombie rubber chicken.
I hadn't played that in a while. I just wanted to play it again because it was fun.
How is he, by the way? How is the zombie rubber chicken?
He's okay. Squeaker's still doing good.
I had to do some horrible, horrible surgery to that poor dead rubber zombie chicken.
It was a sight to behold.
It really was. Do you know where the zombie rubber chicken is right now?
Yeah, I think he's in the basement. You know, he's at my parents' house. He's,
okay.
Zombie rubber chicken. He likes it, dark and in the ground.
Sure. That makes a lot
as a
of
zombie
sense.
rubber chicken would.
Yeah, I don't know.
Before we get sportsy, can I pitch something to you? So from the Twitch, somebody, Z-Man asked, he wished there were channel points. Like, Josh, you've obviously been on Twitch. You understand the concept of channel points.
Vaguely and not great. And here's what I will say, Rudy. I bet most people don't know what that concept is. So go
essentially,
for it.
channel points is it's like whenever you click on to a stream, somebody's stream, you're there long enough, you interact, whatever, you'll get rewarded with points. And then the points, you accumulate them, and whoever the Twitch streamer is can set like rewards. And so like people, it's really just you get rewarded you get points for watching, turn those points into rewards. But the fun part is you get to pick what your points are called.
Ooh.
And Z-Man says we should call it burnt ends. So you don't earn channel points, you earn channel burnt ends.
Wow.
And
I don't hate that.
If you earn 10,000, you can make Beards eat something.
I mean, I don't think $10,000 would make Beards eat anything. But I don't hate that at all.
He doesn't have a choice in the matter. That's the thing. It's Twitch's decision.
I don't know that that's true, but it's also something that I want to believe.
If Beards does not follow through with Twitch's channel points, Frost comes and gets them.
Which one?
I mean,
because we still haven't clarified which one.
It's this only one. It's just after he's lost his family, he's become the murderous snowman.
Or is it in the other direction, where he used to be a murderous snowman, and now he has had a family, but he must not slip and go back to his murderous
That's not how that
snowman
works.
ways.
Once you got that murderous way in you, I've watched Dexter. Once it's in you, it's always there. That darkness doesn't leave.
Josh, you were saying?
So Juan Thornhill, I don't remember what I was saying. I just knew that you're gonna have a cheeky little liner. Yeah, I would love to continue sort of customizing our Twitch. I will take absolutely any suggestions in that regard. In fact, at some point, Rudy, we need to make like a new Google Doc that just sort of has our emote suggestions, our channel point suggestions. I would love to continue to flesh that out because it's a very good platform that I think we should continue to embrace. But I do want to get to at least one more thing here from Juan Thornhill and kind of work through some of my favorite audio from this week and what really does sort of surround my favorite storyline, at least as of right now. And maybe tomorrow I'll have something different, and Saturday I'll have something different, and then Sunday I'll have something different. We'll work through it as we go. But today I've just spent a lot of time, these last couple of days really, thinking about the Chiefs secondary. We talked about it some earlier. If you missed any of it, you can always get the podcasts. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts, or go to aes.show. But we played that clip from Juan Thornhill talking about the versatility of the defensive backs and what I think that says about the unit as a whole and all of those guys individually. In both cases, I think it is absolutely glowing and incredibly good news for the defense. But I mentioned that Thornhill really until the playoffs this year didn't look like the Juan Thornhill of last year up until he got hurt in week 17. But it's kind of crazy to think that a guy would have gone from being essentially, I don't know, hampered by, still working back from an injury to kind of flipping a switch, so to speak, in a week or two. It doesn't really make sense. But Thornhill talked about that this week, and it suddenly put everything into a context that I think really does make everything make significantly more sense.
It's not really more about the physical capability. It's more about my mind. I feel like my mind was the one that was holding me back. And once we hit the playoffs, it was just, I made up my mind just like, listen, you have a couple more games, go as hard as you can and everything will fall into play. And then like last game, it's just like I had a different mindset. Just like if the ball come to you, you go make the play. It's just me talking to myself, which lifted me up. So I can definitely say I'm back to 100%. I'm really confident in myself. I feel like I'm back to where I was last year, and I'm ready to go.
It's just kind of a funny, not ha-ha funny, funny how. It's a very interesting and kind of an odd thing to think about why do the playoffs give you the moment that lets you flip the switch, or why can't you bring that in sooner, or why did it take this long, or why now? Why not until next year when you have full kind of physical faith in your knee and your mind is sharpened back up again? But here's the thing, because I was sort of genuinely asking all those questions to myself at one point. But I think the answer is, well, why not now? Like, you realize, hey, you know what? I made it through this season. We had some ups and downs. I kind of got some faith back in my knee, got used to the speed of the game again. If I'm not going to push myself mentally and physically to be at full 100% speed and mindset right now, if this isn't going to be the time that I'm able to shift into another gear, when would I ever really be able to do that? And so I honestly would imagine there are a number of guys who in their careers have never been able to get back to where Thornhill is right now, because you never fully get your mind sharpened back to that same point, that faith in your body, whatever it was that failed last time. And so I'm remarkably optimistic about Thornhill from this point forward again. I'm really glad, genuinely just glad to hear him talk that way, in a way that is very matter of fact, and also acknowledges that, yeah, I mean, the dude that played a ton of snaps at the beginning of the year and then lost a bunch of snaps and then was out there playing in week 17, the answer to the questions we asked about him for months reasonably, I think, are answered by that 20-second long audio clip of, well, wait, I mean, if you're worried about him getting back to speed, why are you putting him out there to play in 4 quarters of a meaningless game, essentially a preseason game in week 17? Well, because there's still a matter of getting back to that place where you can fly around, fully trust yourself, and be the guy that's just going to go get the ball whenever it's out there. And that's not just talk, because we saw it these last 2 weeks. And at this point, I think it's really hard to overstate how valuable full speed Juan Thornhill is to this defense.
Yeah, I know. It's a different level. Like this defense has been well. I think it gets a lot of heat because obviously it's not what the offense is, right? And you're just naturally going to compare the defense to the offense, and it's just never a bar the defense is going to be able to get over, because the offense is just incredible, and the defense has been mostly solid. They have their down moments, but I would say there's been, for as every bad moment as they had or bad game, they've had just about an equally good game. But Juan Thornhill takes that ceiling to another level. I think the floor is probably about the same, kind of regardless of where he's at, because of guys like Tyrann Mathieu and Chris Jones. That helps you kind of, at the very least, you feel like you know where you're at. But he's the guy who can take you to another level, because he's the guy who we talk about maximizing players. He's the guy that allows Sorensen and Tyrann Mathieu to do their thing, right? To line up more in the box, to maybe go after the quarterback, to actually mix up the defense a little more and catch people off guard. Like, I remember, it was one thing I thought was so big about getting Bashaud Breeland back, is that because it freed up L'Jarius Sneed to be in the nickel, and again, kind of be that roaming corner who sometimes you blitz. Juan Thornhill's the same way. He allows you that freedom to blitz Tyrann Mathieu on a player, blitz Daniel Sorensen, to do things with them that maybe you can't do when he's not out there playing at a high level.
Right, and it's the thing that builds from one layer to the next, that I think you kind of touched on. But it's not just this guy can do all these things, and so now you're coming. Remember how we talked about Eric Berry? For Eric Berry, at his height, there were kind of 2 options. You could either have weaponized heat-seeking missile Eric Berry, or you could have Eric Berry who could cover up pretty much any deficiency in the back of your defense.
Yeah.
The combination of the Thornhill, Mathieu, to some extent Sorensen, and then the Sneed, Ward, Fenton, Breeland, that giant group, that all there is a force multiplier in there of versatility of Thornhill can now be this roaming safety in the back that allows Sorensen to come up and play more in the box, and then Matthew can do whatever Spags wants because he's trusting all the corners. It's something that I don't think is ever going to get its full credit to its full value in Kansas City because the offense has earned, and I mean earned, so many headlines, so much of that conversation, and it's just become something that I think we may even be taking for granted, which is kind of silly because we've seen what happens whenever the pass defense can't, I don't know, stop Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski in a game to end your season. So I think it's really, really important that we keep that in mind for this weekend. We need to take another break. Let's do that now. We'll get distracted by more Twitch comments whenever we come back.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already. When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810. WHB.
Mahomes floats it. Wide open. Kelsey. Touchdown.
You don't get these opportunities every single year in the NFL to be in the Super Bowl. And so you don't want to look back and have regrets about how you played and how you went about the week of preparing to go out there and play your best football.
Sports Radio 810. WHB.
Summit Heating and Cooling is celebrating our boys in red back-to-back championships with our back-to-back rebate. Through February, Summit Heating and Cooling is supporting Lennox's winter rebate with a matching rebate. That's up to $3,000 off a system price, and you still get the qualifying utility rebates. Let's fight for our right to Lombardi. Remember, if you're looking for the top, reach for the Summit. Summit Heating and Cooling. Visit us at summithckc.com or call us today at 816-832-7770.
Hey guys, looking for a new rewarding career? Check out the Operating Engineers Local 101 Apprentice Program. In addition to paid on-the-job training with union construction companies, you'll learn to operate all types of heavy equipment, including cranes, bulldozers, backhoes, graders, scrapers, trenchers, loaders, compactors, pavers, asphalt and concrete plants, drilling and boring machines, and other specialized construction machinery. You'll receive great benefits and a pension plan as well. Call today 816-640-2336. That's 816-640-2336.
Hey Kansas City, it's Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Thank you for a fantastic 2020 and trust in Victory to buy and service your vehicles during these unique times. Folks, Victory is your #1 customer-rated dealership in the Metro with 4.8 stars on Facebook and 2,200 Google reviews at a robust 4.7-star rating. Come by the dealership for a no-hassle demonstration from one of my expert certified sales managers and see why we come so highly recommended. Just released, the 392 Hemi and electric vehicle Jeep Wrangler are now available for order. The all-new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L is here, and it's a showstopper. Don't forget about the 2021 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the 700-horsepower Ram TRX. Come drive the Jeep course, say hello, and see for yourself why we're all excited for 2021. Visit us at Kansas City's only automotive outlet mall, the Legends Auto Plaza, on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, just east of Nebraska Furniture Mart, or online at victorymotorskc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
Dutch Boy's new Platinum Plus paint with Stain Shield technology has the performance you expect from a luxury paint at a price you didn't. Platinum Plus is up to 50% more washable and stain resistant than a leading premium paint in satin sheen. Superiority ranges from 24 to 50% depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy Paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey. And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet of St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Live coverage from Radio Row is presented by Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, Tickets for Less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Only Sports Radio 810 is bringing you live coverage from Tampa at Super Bowl 55.
Wide open, Kelsey. Touchdown, Kansas City.
The Zone coming to you live from Radio Row with all the latest Chiefs news and interviews. Tune into Sports Radio 810 for the best Super Bowl coverage all week long. Live coverage from Radio Row presented by Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, Tickets for Less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I didn't see this tweet that has popped up on the Twitch, but Darth Maul Dad said there's a PFF tweet that only had 7 Chiefs as the top 20 players in the game on Sunday.
I didn't see that tweet either.
I saw it.
Here's the thing, man. I don't know. Maybe I've just reached some amount of zen on a lot of these things because I understand that it's not that everyone is garbage, but it's that there is so much hashtag content just absolutely barfed into the universe at all times that I just, not only can I not keep up with all of it, I don't really care to sometimes. And sites like Pro Football Focus are maybe maybe the single most difficult to rationalize sometimes, because I think that they do tremendously excellent work in a enormous number of places. And then sometimes there's stuff that I think everything turns out looking kind of dumb. I was like, wait a second, how did you get to this result where Tyreek Hill's your whatever 17th rated player or whatever? I see the tweet now. Here's the thing. Here's your other headline, and this isn't, listen, no shade to the wonderful Darth Maul Dad on Twitch, but here's your alternative headline. Pro Football Focus has 4 of the top 5 players on their top players in the Super Bowl from the Chiefs. It's Mahomes, Brady, Kelsey, Hill, Jones. And then it's a bunch of Bucks, and then Matthew. And then it's a bunch of Bucks, and then it's Noddy, and then Snead. You can slice it however you like. I'm just not really that stressed about it. We'll talk about a whole bunch of other Tampa Bay Buccaneers things whenever we come back here, though. From Tampa Bay, whenever we come back.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a historic low 2.5%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on a conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
Time to run it back, Kansas City. Shop the largest selection of Chiefs, AFC champion, and Super Bowl gear at Rally House. New postseason styles arriving daily.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State, Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, it's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Selection varies by location. Limited quantities while supplies last.
Hey, Kansas City fans, get your Chiefs limited edition Rawlings football now by calling 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. Each fully engraved football is priced at only $99 and comes with an individually numbered certificate of authenticity. The football features their AFC Championship, Chiefs team history, logos, full season schedule with opponents, and a summary of Mahomes' accomplishments. It will be automatically upgraded to Super Bowl champs if they win. Fans can order now by calling 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. That's 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to Cornerstones of Care. So Kansas City fans, get your limited edition Chiefs Rawlings football now. Call 1-800-345-2868, 1-800-345-2868, or online at nicosports.com, nikcosports.com.
Super Bowl 55, Sunday at 5 p.m. on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
WHB, Kansas City.
And the Players Association will have a finalized agreement by next week for an all-star game in Atlanta to be played on March 7th, ESPN obtaining a league memo. One final score from tonight, Utah goes to 17-5 on the season, a 112-91 victory in Atlanta. Jordan Clarkson with the game-high 23 points off the bench for the Jazz. Plenty of points at Dallas. Warriors lead the Mavericks 130-107 with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Luka Doncic has 27. Kelly Oubre has 37. He's 6 of 8 from 3. Blazers lead the 76ers 103-84 fourth quarter in Philly. Joel Embiid has 37. Rockets in front of the Grizzlies 47-45 second quarter in Memphis. Super Bowl 55 on Sunday between the Bucs and Chiefs. ESPN's Sal Paolantonio on Tom Brady getting one of his receivers back.
I can tell you he's real happy today getting Antonio Brown back. That's the headline. Let's get right to that news. Antonio Brown practiced, Kevin, for the first time in 20 days as a full participant, coming off that knee injury that he suffered in New Orleans in the divisional round, misses the NFC Championship game, limited participant in practice, but today a full participant.
Sal Paolantonio on SportsCenter. Tampa Bay tight end Cam Brate is expected to play in the Super Bowl, reports ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Brate's been dealing with a back issue. UFC veterans Donald Cowboy Cerrone and Diego Sanchez have verbally agreed to fight on May 8th.
Hey, it's Greeny, and we're getting ready for the last Football Friday of this season. And in it, I will tell you exactly who is going to win Super Bowl 55 and why, and who's going to be the MVP. All that and more, don't miss it. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
We're all hungry for a little nibbling of some delicious Chiefs talk. So here we go. Num, 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 num.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You've heard me talk about what I expect and what I'm looking forward to from the Super Bowl, from my perspective, many hours over now. So it only seems fitting that we get somebody else's perspective, maybe from the other side of the Gulf, I guess. I mean, it's just a bunch of miles. It's really just, land to get to Florida. I'm not really sure. There's not an ocean to travel. But we'll go down to Florida now to talk to Zach Goodall. You can check out his work through Sports Illustrated's All Bucs on the Sports Illustrated Fan Nation Network. And all of our coverage from Radio Row and looking ahead, the Super Bowl has been brought to you this week by Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, Tickets for Less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City. Zach, I know that it's not an ocean to get to Florida, but a plane ride over some land for the most part. Again, maybe we'll count the Gulf in there, but it's been a gulf of content this week. Yeah, sure, I'll take it. This week has felt like both a month and like a blink of an eye. Which one has won the measurement for you in terms of how long we've been covering this game for the last 2 weeks?
Well, I mean, even just beyond this game, this season has taken years off my life. Just in terms of how long it's been, week in and out. You got this guy hitting the COVID list, this guy getting activated from the COVID list, and so much more that we have to worry about in our roles that I'll tell you what, man, I could use an adult beverage or two once the season's over, like a lot of coaches like to say on Black Mondays.
What sort of struck me, especially this week, is how bad I think I just want to lay down. Just lay down, and like some noise-canceling headphones, not playing anything, just sort of like a sensory deprivation chamber, and then maybe the deprivation chamber is filled with your choice of adult beverage. Maybe that's what we all need.
Yeah, I'll take pretty much any adult beverage, and I'll just sit down. Maybe I can get Pat Mahomes to join me and play some Call of Duty. We can run the kilo and the mat class.
The number of just things like that we've picked up this week, really excellent, really worthwhile, really changing the world. What's something that's caught your eye that way this week? Not necessarily in the X's and O's, we'll get there, but some of the storylines that are a bit lighter, perhaps, that you've gone, you know what? All right, that's pretty good. I'll write that one up.
Oh, wow. I mean, there's definitely been a few of them. I thought Antonio Brown's press conference was kind of interesting. Talk about how anything beyond Super Bowl coverage or Super Bowl thoughts, I should say, for him would be a disservice to his team, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, I'll praise him for what he's been able to contribute after some time off. And I don't want to go too far into Antonio Brown. I'm sure you've talked about it a million times in your show, but He's been a distraction before. He knows he's been a distraction before. So I guess it was interesting to hear his growth in not wanting to be one at this point.
Yeah, and also you have to deal with the dichotomy of all the things he's overcome, like all the things that other people made him do that had consequences at the end of it. You're right. His press conference was very interesting, and I'm not sure that I would necessarily say it was interesting in a positive way, but it certainly was interesting. There's been a handful of other things again that leads you up to some of the matchups and everything that you and I have already discussed a little bit here and there and exchanged some notes on and whatnot. Today we kind of honed in a little bit on what the Chiefs secondary has evolved into over the last few weeks, really, and over the last couple of years in the bigger picture. And then Antonio Brown, all the other weapons that Brady's been working with for the season as a whole. What did you think whenever everything started to come together, this offseason, which also feels like a million years ago, and then how that unit has grown all the way up until now we're just a little bit away from the Super Bowl?
Well, you know what? I think pretty much anyone will tell you, and myself included, that I'm a bit surprised Tampa Bay made it this far. Even going back to the offseason, I believe the acquisition of Tom Brady was big enough to put a talented team like Tampa Bay into contention at the very least. But was it enough to go all the way? I just wasn't sold on it. And we saw that it took some time. Having COVID throw off the entire offseason is obviously an excuse for everyone, but especially when you're going through that instrumental of a change to your organization. It took Tampa Bay some time. We saw it in the Week 12 game that I think I put the note in the story earlier, but it's been a long day. Something like 3 yards per play in the first quarter, while Tyreek Hill was able to go for 203 yards on his own in the first quarter. That's not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense at this point. That's what it was in Week 12, but now they're getting off to fast starts. They've been averaging 30 points a game going through the past 7 games, all wins, 30 points in each playoff game. We saw in the NFC Championship, it was like a tale of two Tom Bradys. He threw the 3 interceptions in the second half, and really a lot of them were ill-advised on his part. But beyond that, he's been on an absolute tear, averaging 10 yards or just about adjusted yards per attempt. He's just been on an absolute roll. He's throwing vertically. He's throwing a lot better than we'd expect a 43-year-old to throw the ball downfield. And with that, once they had that bye week, once they were able to reset, the Bucs were really able to just come in sync and find a way to win games with their offense.
Well, yes, you mentioned being able to go downfield more, and that was a big part of the story early in the season in terms of how really Bruce Arians' offense was extremely different from what we saw the last few years in New England for Brady, and it seems like there's been a little give and take between the two of them and kind of philosophies and how it's all been executed. Please correct me if I'm off base on any of that, but the thing kind of around that whole section of the story, you get that 4-game stretch where they get thumped by the Saints, they blow out the Panthers, then they lose to the Rams and the Chiefs in back-to-back weeks. Other than maybe Brady looking more downfield, and maybe this is on both sides of the ball as well, what was it that has made the biggest impact, or the few things that have made the biggest impact from the team that you may have seen against the Saints, again, going, oh boy, this is not going to go well, to the team that's now getting ready to play in the Super Bowl?
Well, for one, they've in that game against the Chiefs in Week 12 and in that time frame, they really abandoned the run game early, and they tried to be aggressive with the pass game. And you highlighted it, that Brady did struggle throwing the ball down the field. I think we were at a point where it was like 25 or so straight incompletions on deep passes, air yards of 20+. It just wasn't working. And pairing that with a lackluster running game that they just couldn't get going, Tampa Bay was falling behind in games. It was happening every week, and they couldn't seem to put together the start that they needed to stay in games. And that's what's changed at this point is they've allowed Tom to become a bit more comfortable with that. He feels better getting aggressive now than he did during that stretch, coming out and throwing on first down, taking shots downfield when the defense doesn't expect it, because that wasn't his thing in New England. It wasn't a vertical offense nearly as much as it was more rhythmic and methodical, short to intermediate concepts. It just took him that time, again, with the COVID stuff over the summer, altering the offseason. it wasn't ever going to be perfect right out of the gate. It needed to take time for him to start feeling comfortable being aggressive in that manner. And once Tampa Bay, they were able to reset in the bye week, he was able to, I wish I was in the meetings to figure out exactly what it was that they did, but I can tell you that they're at least more aggressive on first and second downs. They're throwing a lot more to try and shore up third down, make sure that it's a shorter and more manageable distance. And with that, they've been able to fix a lot of problems.
What about the supporting cast? Obviously, these two offenses, they won't literally be on the field at the same time. But my goodness, there's so much talent across both of these rosters, but especially both offenses. You have the aforementioned Antonio Brown. Obviously, Rob Gronkowski has not had an enormous season, but he's out there with Cameron Brate. So you got a couple of tight ends that can do some things. And then Mike Evans and Chris Godwin being, I think, the headliners. With all of those guys, how everyone's gelled over the course of this year, and then now how each of them are used in the offense, what are you expecting, both what you've seen over these last several weeks throughout the postseason and what you're looking ahead to on Sunday, where you say, you know what, this is really the straw that stirs the drink in terms of the weapons around Brady. These are the guys that are playing more limited roles.
Well, see, that's the thing is I think it's an extremely talented group, and it's got a ton of firepower. But from a mix of injuries, maybe it's been playing in the cold like they did in Landover, Maryland in the wild card round, and then Lambeau Field up in Wisconsin for the championship. They've dealt with some drops. Chris Godwin, speaking of, it's been so uncharacteristic from him to drop a pass, but he had, I think, 4 or 5 just in the Washington game alone, and another 1 or 2 against Green Bay. I feel like we haven't seen the unit come together as one throughout the playoffs, and when they do that, I think, you won't see maybe the uncharacteristic interceptions from Tom Brady. You haven't seen from him throughout the playoffs a pure dominant game from start to finish like he was able to do in the final 4 weeks of the regular season, just because whether it's 1 or 2 misses in pass protection or this unit not coming together the way that we've seen throughout the regular season, it's just not happened yet. And ideally, that's what they're going to need to happen in the Super Bowl. They've got to be able to match points with Kansas City throughout the game, and I think it's going to be higher scoring than the last time around. So with that, especially if Antonio Brown's healthy, and it seems like he is being a full participant in practice, Chris Godwin isn't going to be playing in the cold weather where drops might be affecting him a bit more than usual. And with that, Mike Evans has been productive all along the way. So you'd figure they need this group of receivers especially, as well as, tight end Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, that entire group to come together as one in this game. It's more important than ever.
Whenever we flip sides there, obviously the Chiefs came out and just obliterated this defense at the jump in that first game. And one of the big storylines has been, hey, it seems like Tampa figured some things out really on both sides of the ball in the second half. And I think to some extent I would argue that, the Chiefs offensively were pushing it a little bit less later in that game because this was one of those one-possession games that didn't ever really feel like it was in legitimate danger from the Chiefs' perspective. It also doesn't mean that they shouldn't have been trying to stop that offense or that they shouldn't have tried to score a few more points. But whenever you look at what the Bucs defense did better later in that game and what they've done better since that game, you look at the secondary, and we'll have a lot of time to talk about the pass rush, but what makes you think, if you think at all, that they'll have an easier time dealing with guys like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in this one?
Well, I think it was that pass rush ultimately that came alive in the second half. It just obviously wasn't enough. They were able to generate a lot of pressure. I think it was up at around 21 or 24, according to Pro Football Focus, and it was able to get Mahomes off his spot. You could tell he was rattled a bit. He was backpedaling 10 or 12 yards, but Bruce Arians is still talking about it to this point, how you're never going to come across a quarterback that can backpedal 10 or 12 yards under extreme duress and still find a way to launch a perfectly accurate ball down the field. It just doesn't, you don't come across those guys. Everyone listening to me right now in Kansas City and anywhere that this is being listened to understands what type of talent Patrick Mahomes is. So with Tampa Bay, they're going to need to trust Carlton Davis to not allow Tyreek Hill to go a perfect 9 of 9 receiving, catching his targets in man coverage early on. And with, even an additional half second in coverage to lock receivers down, if they can do that to start the game, they've got to be aggressive. They've got to send the pass rush, especially through a Kansas City Chiefs battered offensive line at this point and figure out a way to both contain and rattle Mahomes at the same time. It doesn't have to be every play. You need it to be as close as possible, obviously, but if that can happen early, just one turnover even early on just to get a score. The Bucs have been able to score 41 points off of turnovers in the postseason. Just doing that once early on can change the outlook of the game for Tampa Bay as long as they're aggressive and as long as they're scoring efficiently. So with that being said, get that pass rush, turn it up like you did against the Chiefs, and make sure they can get home.
Within the specifics of the pass rush, walk me through kind of what seasons you've seen from Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaq Barrett and Vita Vea is back. Where do you say, all right, if I have to hone in understanding the Chiefs' offensive line, as you said, is battered? I mean, they've got the center, Austin Ryder, is in the same spot where he started the season, even though he missed some time in the middle of the year. He was there week 1. He's there for the Super Bowl. Everybody else is out or has moved, and they've been dealing with that all season long, which I think is probably to some extent to their advantage now that it's not the first time they've had to shake up this offensive line, but it has been shook up. With that being said, and with those guys across that defensive line, and also, I mean, the Buccaneers are probably not going to try to blitz Patrick Mahomes too terribly often because we all know at this point what Mahomes does against the blitz. What can you tell us about the Buccaneers' tendencies when they do want to create the pass rush, and then what the guys across that line can do to make some problems?
I figure they're going to try and blitz a bit, but definitely not too often, because like you said, we've seen what Mahomes can do against the blitz. But if it's going to be happening, I would figure it's going to be Devin White being sent on the majority of them. He did rank second on the team in sacks with 9 throughout the year. And Levante David is just simply the guy you can trust in coverage more often than White. He was able to put up a good game in coverage against the Saints in the playoffs, but before that, he struggled in coverage throughout the season. It just wasn't that pretty. So you got to use his speed to try and rattle, contain, and pursue Mahomes, and just get him off his spot as much as possible. That can be one of their advantageous matchups when it does come to blitzing. Otherwise, it's a really good pass rush. It could stand to improve. One of the biggest things this offseason, I think, is going to be adding more defensive line talent just to generate something with that front three, particularly with Ndamukong Suh and William Golston. Suh's going to be a free agent. Golston is going to be one in a year from now. It's something they've got to have to target, but at least at this same time, these older veterans are still contributing. Suh is still disruptive, and he's playing pretty good ball. Ideally, though, the pass rush does come from White, and it comes off those edges with Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaquille Barrett. I personally would say that I don't think Barrett has had as strong a season as he did last year. I mean, that's evident by the sack count as a whole, but just in general, he's not producing as much pressure consistently as he did a year ago, whereas Jason Pierre-Paul has been dominant as ever. I mean, he's still producing no matter what injury he's had throughout his career. He's been able to rebound. He still looks healthy. They're giving him some great treatment in terms of his practice schedule. It's easy throughout the week to keep him fresh, and he's energized. He's always been known as a really highly energized, very passionate player, and he obviously uses that within his pass rush to create some exciting things, make exciting things happen. I would say he's probably one of, if not the leader of this defense at this point. He creates the most consistent disruption, and they're going to depend on him, as well as a consistent showing from Barrett off that opposite edge with the injuries, particularly piling up at tackle.
I imagine that if the pressure is getting there consistently, it's going to make the short and intermediate stuff even more important for the Chiefs' offense, which obviously, I mean, Tyreek Hill's straight line down the field deep threat speed is obviously incredible. They use him plenty of, doing stuff across the middle, but you think intermediate routes and across the middle for the Chiefs, you think about Travis Kelce. What is, I was going to ask, how are the Buccaneers going to stop Travis Kelce? And if you had the right answer to that, you wouldn't be talking to me, you'd be talking to Bruce Arians, and you'd be being paid a lot of money to do so. So let me ask it this way. What do you think the Buccaneers are going to try to do to limit Travis Kelce's damage that he'll do to the defense? Because they're not going to shut him down, they're not going to shut him out, but they're going to try blank.
I think it'll be a combination of Levante David and Sean Murphy-Bunting. And with Murphy-Bunting, he's a smaller defensive back. Good luck manning a defensive back in general up against Kelce for an entire game. I don't think it would go in the Buccaneers' favor to do that the entire time. However, when they're going in lighter packages or on third downs, I think they can afford to do it at that point because Murphy Bunting's emerged as a legitimate playmaker for the Buccaneers defense in the playoffs. He was a bit inconsistent throughout the year, but particularly in the nickel role, he's been thriving. He's got an interception in each postseason game, and he's looked way more comfortable, even despite injuries behind him at safety. With that being said, it could be a mix of him in terms of when they're looking for a playmaker on Kelsey. Otherwise, I think it'll be Levante David. As I said before, he's the stronger linebacker of the two in coverage, and you've got to get someone that's physical on Kelsey. You got to get your hands on him early. They're not going to trust the defensive back, particularly, they've got good defensive backs, but I don't think they have a legitimately, extremely strong guy that can throw hands with a tight end or a bigger physical receiver like that. In which case, David's he's gonna have a huge role in coverage.
How do you think that's gonna go? I mean, I think that all makes a lot of sense. But is this something where you say, I'm willing to bet that the Bucs are going to give up some ground here, or do you think, that might work out well enough with the combination of those guys?
I think it's something that they figure they're going to give up some ground on. Hopefully for them, it would work with the idea that Murphy Bunting can maybe make one or even just one of those plays can change the game for Tampa Bay as long as they're connecting offensively. One of those turnovers to create points in an advantageous situation will work for them. They'd have to hope that Murphy Bunting can pull something off like that, but otherwise, going up against Kelsey, same thing with going up against Hill. Even if you're playing a good game, chances are you're going to give up some sort of ground.
Back to the big picture of all of this. I mean, again, you're covering Tom Brady and his in what will be looked back on as maybe his Joe Montana Chiefs phase. Certainly, he's already had more success than Montana did. He's had more success than Jordan with the Wizards or whatever. But whenever we've had these sort of bigger picture conversations about Mahomes and Brady and, this could be Brady's 7th ring or Mahomes' 2nd. And these are going to be two guys that are probably going to be tied together for the next decade, the next 2 decades in sort of the larger scale GOAT conversations that we'll have for the rest of time. I don't feel like this is necessarily a good thing, but I do imagine that this head-to-head matchup between the two is going to carry a lot of weight in the years to come. Do you get that feeling, and do you get the feeling that there is a little extra even on the table? Not for the Buccaneers. The Bucs are at 100% on this game, but do you think that maybe there's a little extra spice on it for Brady, knowing that this might be his last chance to get one more jab in on Mahomes?
I don't see why not. That's just, who Tom Brady is, the ultimate competitor. And things like that are a bit personal for him, and I think he would take it to heart. In terms of that debate, though, I mean, what does that do for Mahomes? You figure that's going to be a milestone that people are going to want to see one day when his time's up in Kansas City, what he can go and do with another offense somewhere. So maybe that'll extend the debate a little bit, but just with my opportunity to say it on a Kansas City radio, I'm a big believer that if there's anyone that's ever going to catch up to Tom Brady, at least that we're aware about right now, it's extremely clearly Mahomes.
Yeah. That plays well to the audience. You're getting standing ovations in living rooms and in cars all across the city.
I'm a young guy. I started covering the NFL draft and stuff recently in Jacksonville, probably 5 years ago when I started this career of mine. And I was really, every year you got to look for quarterbacks when you're covering the Jaguars. And I'll tell you what, in the draft process, Mahomes was my dude. I wasn't sure if Jacksonville should have drafted him because I didn't trust them to develop his talents like KC has. But I was all over that. I'm very happy to see how things have worked out for him.
I think it's great you can take credit for that. And listen, what do the Jags have to complain about? They have Leonard Fournette. He's in the Super Bowl. Not for them, but he's in a Super Bowl against Mahomes. That pretty much worked out.
Well, think about it like this, too. I don't want to wish injury upon anyone, but what would, as a former Jacksonville resident myself, I can only imagine what the city would look like if this game came down to Blaine Gabbert versus Chad Henne at quarterback.
I don't want to speak for everyone all at once, but boy, I hope that's not how that game goes. That would be really unfortunate for a lot of reasons.
I have a feeling that we are with the consensus on this one.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Can you please explain to me why the Buccaneers thought they might be able to convince the NFL to let them fire cannons whenever they score during the game, as is tradition?
Your guess is as good as mine. I admire him for the effort at the very least.
Walk us through a little bit of. I've heard from a number of places that this was like both teams were making some pretty strong cases for either, hey, let us shoot off these cannons, the Buccaneers touchdown cannons, if you're not familiar. Let us treat this like a home game. The Chiefs saying, no, thank you. This is a neutral site, even though it is going up against Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. What can you give us just a little bit of context on that and what you've heard about how that behind the scenes battle may have played out?
Well, personally, I've got no insight as to actually how it went down. The biggest, I guess you can consider that off-field storyline that's been bothering me has been the idea of renaming Tampa Bay to Tampa Bay or something along those lines, like the mayor was suggesting they'd follow through with. But I mean, I think it's definitely the right thing to do for the NFL. I get it, and they're going to do it in the player intros, which honestly, I could have seen people saying, don't even do that. Like, make this completely a neutral site game from start to finish. And with fans in the stadium, the fire in those cannons will get people a little bit motivated, maybe give the Buccaneers a bit of an edge coming out. That's not fair to me, but it's Tom Brady. He can high-five the refs and do whatever he wants.
That's true. And also, to your point earlier, Mahomes is going to get there eventually. I think at some point, maybe Mahomes is taking his own sound effects with them to visiting Super Bowls. What is that? I mean, because there is absolutely an advantage to Tampa being able to play this game at home in a way that, like, the NFL obviously could not have been prepared for. This game was going to Tampa well before Tom Brady was going to Tampa. So this element of it is obviously unavoidable. Whoa, or were those cards all played many years ago in the dark back rooms of Roger Goodell's basement? I guess that's an excellent point. But like the Chiefs are treating this like a road game, just with extra media, basically. I mean, they've done all their media stuff from Kansas City. They're flying out over the weekend, and they're just basically on their road game schedule. The Bucs are getting to sleep in their own beds. The hotels that the home team, quote unquote home team, was supposed to have are not being used, I imagine. And that is a little advantage to Tampa. Again, maybe unless you want to go all the way down the conspiratorial rabbit hole, which I am totally in support of. It's just the way that all the chips fell, but it's an interesting little quirk for this year, I'd imagine.
Yeah, definitely. That's what Tom Brady was saying the other day during his press conferences. He gets 12 days at home to do all the preparation that he wants. His family's out of town until Saturday. So I guess unless he's with teammates, he's got it pretty well made. He gets to live at home in his PJs, eat up whatever he wants to, doesn't have to follow strict code protocols besides going into practice, and just get to work on getting ready for this Chiefs team. I can't think of a better way to prepare for the Super Bowl than doing it on my own couch.
Yeah. It's again, interesting wrinkle in a year that has had so many of those. But we're almost to the end of the season. One more game. How are you feeling right now about what this game is going to look like whenever it all plays out?
I feel like I'm going to keep going back and forth on it one way or another, just because of what the Buccaneers offense and defense, really, I mean, as an entire concerted team effort has been able to do since the last time the Chiefs and the Buccaneers were able to face off. I'm still going to go with Kansas City for now. I feel as though maybe on Sunday I could flip again. But right now, Kansas City is favored by 3 points with an over-under of 56. I have the Buccaneers covering, and I have the game going over. I do believe there's going to be a lot more points this time around.
For more coverage from the Bucs perspective for the rest of the week, go check out All Bucs. It's a part of SI's Fan Nation Network. You can follow Zach on Twitter as well, at Zach_Goodall. Zach, I appreciate making the time for us tonight. And depending on how things go, maybe we'll catch up again next week.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Zach Goodall of All Bucs on Sports Illustrated. Again, follow him on Twitter at Zach_Goodall. There's just 1,000 storylines within this game, and it's really good to get the Tampa Bay perspective. I think that That ballot measure should be available as soon as possible. If they win, if the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl in their first year with Tom Brady in his post-Patriots run, I think Tampa Bay should be written into law. I'm ready to embrace that. Sounds like Zach's probably not. Sounds like maybe the city isn't quite. I'm rooting for it regardless. I don't know what they do with St. Pete. Maybe it's Tampa Bay and St. Bruce. I don't know if Bruce Arians gets it. It's certainly not as good of a pun. But sometimes you get 50-50 on the puns and you take what you can. Let's take a break. More Super Bowl coverage whenever we come back.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you have a frog? A freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
Hey, it's former Jayhawk Greg Gurley. Kansas fans and alumni are in every city and state we play. If your favorite Jayhawk fans are missing home, send them some Joe's KC barbecue. Nothing beats home court and championship barbecue on game day. Joe's will ship anywhere in the U.S. It's easy to reheat, and it tastes just as good at home as it does at Joe's. You can ship all of Joe's favorites, like ribs, brisket, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Ordering is easy, and it's just a few clicks away at joeskc.com.
Hey sports fans, Joni here, and I'm excited to tell you about the newly opened In the Zone Cryo. In the Zone Cryo will help decrease pain and inflammation, accelerate muscle recovery, increase your energy, and boost your immune system. In the Zone Cryo also offers InstaSculpt fat reduction, personal training, infrared heat, compression therapy, and more. Mention Sports Radio 810 and receive 10% off your first service. Come see us at College and Metcalf. Call 913-208-4859 or visit inthezonecryo.com. Feel, look, and perform your best with In the Zone Cryo.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa.
As the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
There's a new way to buy electronics in Kansas City. Hi, I'm Kevin Keatsman. Bstock.net is America's online discount electronics leader. Save up to 30% on brand new computers, monitors, printers, and the world's best TVs. A local KC company, we're lucky they've opened an outlet store in Olathe that saves you even more. Apple, Dell, Samsung, new in the box with warranties. And at bstock.net's outlet store, you get old-fashioned advice on the right product for you. bstock.net, 14680 South Flaming Road in Olathe.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
And all impressions lead to home. And for me, home is Steve Spagnuolo and Bill Clinton, and they're never good.
With Joshua Brisco.
But that's okay. But my new theory is, can I do a Pennywise the Clown impression? And if so, does it eventually turn into Steve Spagnuolo? Or Bill Clinton?
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Just me going, Georgie! Georgie, what time is it, Georgie? Where's my honey badger, Georgie? Where's my honey badger?
Thanks again to Zach Goodall for joining us last segment from SI's All Bucs. A lot of stuff in there that I think we can continue to dig in on. And also, we're kind of at that point where we've been talking about this game and a lot of the matchups for 2 weeks, the storylines and all that stuff we talked about earlier. A lot of audio we can still work through over the course of the rest of the night as well. I intend on doing that. If anything else distracts us from the various streams we can watch the show, the YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch channels, just find Sports Radio 810 at all three of those. One thing there that Zach kind of mentioned and Rob tweeted in on Twitter is the idea of, getting Mahomes off his spot isn't going to do anything to stop Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's true. The one thing that stuck with me from what Zach had said about what the pass rush is doing is they have to get to Mahomes and contain him. The thing is, I mean, we're just evaluating Patrick Mahomes on a wildly different scale than like anybody. I mean, on some level, I don't know what we're even allowed to say, because to say, well, make Mahomes move, well, he's incredible on the move. Okay, keep him in the pocket. Well, he's excellent in the pocket. So I think that it's at least fair to say, you know what? Get to Mahomes quickly and contain him to the point where you are basically just trying to constrict him like a lasso. Your pass rush has to be a lasso. And you can't just get to him and move him. You've got to grab him in the pocket. Like, it's just, I understand that we're we want to say, you can't just move Mahomes, he's going to be great. You can't just leave him in the pocket, he's going to be great. But you've got to say something. You got to do something. You have to have a goal in place. And also, if you give Mahomes time to look downfield and you want to just, rush 3 and then drop 8 into coverage, you can do that also. But eventually, either there's going to be time resting there in the pocket, or Mahomes is going to break out of it and then find someone 45 yards downfield because it took so long to get to him. I mean, it really is. I know this is a bit of a cliche at this point, but it is a matter of picking your poison, not just in the weapons around Mahomes, but with Mahomes himself.
I was going to say, or Tampa just zigs when everybody else has been zagging, and they make him throw the ball. And that's their game plan. That will never not work.
Well, so here's the crazy thing. I mean, like, I
know...
No
evidence of that not working at all this year.
But this is the thing that we talked about a little bit with Seth back on Monday, and that there was a little talk about on Twitter around some more. It was more kind of like the analytically minded folks, I think, had kind of bought into some of this. If you say, you know what, make Mahomes beat us deep, obviously the Chiefs would be thrilled to try that. But at the very least, the deep shots are harder to pull off than the intermediate stuff. If you've got to give up something, then I guess, say, you know what, take those deeper shots. Obviously, it's a higher reward if you land them, but it is also a little bit more difficult. The 40 yards on a rope is a tougher throw than 8 yards in a gap in the zone. So I understand. I mean, like, I'm giving you a serious response to a joking question, essentially. I understand what I'm doing there, but that's the point that we're at. We're like, the joke answer that you just gave to what do you want to do against Mahomes has at least about as much merit as any of the most serious possible answers. That's the level of craziness we're at this point.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the reality is you have to try something. Like right? Like there is no right answer here. Like you're going into a test that is literally rigged against you, but you have to try something.
You cannot leave that space blank.
Yeah, I think some of the problems is that I mean, and again, I think this is obviously easier said than done. Is too frequently I think teams go in trying to stop multiple things, And I think you know what I mean, and trying to do almost too much, and you really do just gotta try to. I think your best bet is essentially trying to keep things simple and really just try to take, just go after one thing, target one thing. If you feel like, hey, maybe this is where that weakness is, we're just gonna target this and we're gonna just go after this all game long, and just hope for the best. And whether that's forcing Mahomes to throw deep balls and hoping that it's just a little bit off, or trying to force the Chiefs into having 15, 16 play drives, because in theory, the longer a drive is, the better chance of one of those plays being a mistake. Maybe not a mistake by Mahomes necessarily, but there being a mistake on a play. I would probably tend to lean that way, but part of that is just because I've just seen Tyreek Hill burn so many people, but also it's not like Mahomes never overthrows him, right? Or the pass is never a little bit off, because throwing a ball.
Tyreek dropped one of those bombs in the AFC Championship.
Throwing a ball 50 yards down the field perfectly every time is hard, and catching it every time is hard, and beating the receiver or the cornerback every time like that. There's challenges there. I think you just have to pick something and just be like, okay, this is the game plan. And unless it's going horribly wrong, like what happened the first time they played each other, where Tyreek Hill is 200 yards in the first quarter, it's like we are sticking with this. Like we are just going to pound this and pound this and pound this and kind of hope for the best.
Because the alternative is, now Ice Pyro on Twitch said run the ball and keep him off the field. And Rudy, if you can work on figuring out how to perma-ban people from Twitch, I think Ice Pyro's got to go. But the alternative is what the Bills tried, not in the AFC Championship game, but in that first matchup where you dare them to run. Say, all right, you know what we're gonna do? Our linebackers are going to literally backpedal at the point of the snap. They're just gonna at hike, not literally the word hike, but at the snap of the ball, our linebackers' first steps are going to be backwards, and we're gonna say, go ahead, we dare you to run it. Well, the Chiefs did then run it. And that game was never legitimately in question. The final score was close enough, but they lost that way also. You have to have an outrageous amount of talent defensively to make it work, and it means hurrying Mahomes. Because again, like Rob's point from Twitter is a totally fair one to say, well, you can't go to any of the quarterback cliches for Mahomes, any of them. I mean, you can't go to the mobile quarterback cliches. You can't go to the statue quarterback cliches, because Mahomes is excellent at everything.
Yeah.
But I do think that all you can do is hurry his process. If you can hurry his process a little bit, well, then now you found yourself getting some advantage somewhere. It's all in the margins, though.
We've gotten to the point where, and I remember this with Tom Brady too, that I wasn't watching like every Patriots game, but especially you see essentially every Patriots game in the playoffs, and the key to the game was always get after Brady with 4, which is just like the most generic thing to say, but it's also like all you can really do to have a chance, because the second you have to have a fifth person, not in that go from 7 in coverage to 6. It's almost always over. Like they're just too good of quarterbacks.
Wasn't that what everybody was saying that San Francisco was going to do last year in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And they were going to destroy the Chiefs because they could do it with 4.
Well, but here the thing is, they did for like 3 quarters, and it still wasn't enough because they only did it for like 3.5 quarters. Really, it was like 3.5 quarters. They just honestly, I think the defense did their job last year in the Super Bowl. They did that for 3.5 quarters, and they just didn't get enough of a lead from the offense, and then Garoppolo missed a deep shot that could have actually ended up with the Super Bowl going to San Francisco.
This is also where we kind of get back to, and again, this is where I think this is every team's biggest mistake when they go into a game against the Chiefs. I think their first thought is always, okay, how do we stop Patrick Mahomes? How do we limit the Chiefs' offense? Obviously, I expect the defensive coordinator to be thinking that, because that's literally his only job, but I also think that's what head coaches are going into. Okay, how do we limit possessions for them? How do we limit their score? If you're the head coach going to every game, and this is exactly what Bruce Arians should be thinking, is that we have to get to 30. Nothing else matters if we don't get to 30. It does not matter what our defense does. It does not matter nothing matters unless we get to 30. Because odds are, if we don't get to 30, we will not win. If we do get to 30, there's still a chance we won't win, but that's how you beat the Chiefs. 30 points has to be like the bare minimum. That's the first step. Once we get to 30, from there, it start figuring things out, right? Do we have to go get 40? Are we in a good spot? Is defense playing well? because that was the problem with San Francisco last year. Is they couldn't score points, and because like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if the defense is great for 3 quarters. The Chiefs' offense has shown time and time and time again that they can just and all they need is 8 minutes, 8 minutes of game time, and they can put up 20. And so like you have to go get 30. It's just bare minimum.
I think this I think this taps into a similar thing as the keep Mahomes off the field time of possession nonsense, where I think that the idea of you got to hold them to X or score Y ends up all having a similar problem to the whatever time of possession keep them off the field thing, where it kind of doesn't matter what you do on one side if the other side doesn't hold up its end of the bargain.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like this is really, really simplistic, but maybe simplistic enough that it's desperately needed in these conversations, because let's say you have the defensive plan that you want or whatever, and let's say you're San Francisco last year, and you do it pretty well for 3 quarters and change. Well, you didn't score enough. Where did that math fail? Well, you didn't capitalize on enough of your defensive accomplishments. Your offense did not score enough. If you get if you hold the Chiefs to a field goal in the red zone, which is a huge accomplishment, right? Let's go to Sunday. You hold the Chiefs to a field goal in the red zone, or even more so, you force a turnover on downs from the 2. Wow, what an accomplishment. Well, if you punt the ball back 3 plays later, that defensive stand did not gain you any points. In fact, if you kick the field goal and then they kick the field goal and then you punt it back, you're at -3 on that exchange, even though your defense held up its end of the bargain. Let's say your offense goes and they do go score a touchdown. Well, the Chiefs immediately go score again. All right, well that whole exchange there ended up in a net neutral. You have to have both constantly. And that's why beating the Chiefs is so hard, because they're going to keep that pressure on, especially with their offense, and really to some extent on both sides of the ball. Again, I think some of this is wildly overly simplistic and just wildly simple, but that's why they're in the Super Bowl for the second time in 2 years, is because both units do enough to keep the pressure on the opposing teams and to capitalize themselves whenever the other unit on their own team is able to present an opportunity to them. It's also the reason that special teams have been the only thing that's gotten in the way of the Chiefs really over these last 2 years, because you're talking about possessions being given up in a way that the other side of the ball can't immediately account for, but also they do eventually account for. That's sort of the magic of where we're at this point.
And you need a crazy amount of luck, like that, to beat the Chiefs. Like luck, like you need luck. Like you need Patrick Mahomes to just miss that deep throw, by a yard. You need that ball to go through Tyreek Hill's hand, and like as we saw against the Bills, you got that ball that went through Tyreek Hill's hand. You got McCole Hardman fumbling on the 2-yard line. You still got destroyed.
Yep, You did some things really well, guys. Good job. Cleveland or Buffalo or San Francisco or Houston or Tennessee. Good job. Good luck. Good try. Good effort. But you cannot possibly expect to hold that particular line for 60 minutes. It's just really, really, really hard, and you've got to be pretty much perfect on all sides of the ball, which is why it's really hard to beat the Chiefs. It's why they've lost one time with their starters in the last year and a half at this point.
You just really can't go into the game being afraid. I think that happens so often. I think we saw that with Buffalo, right? Like, punting the ball, kicking the field goal, like, hey, we just have to get these points. You need to go out and be aggressive against the Chiefs. That's the only way you beat teams like that.
And you
and hope for luck and hope for some good luck to fall your way. Like, you be aggressive and hope you get lucky. Like, it's a little bit of just flipping a coin, but like, the Chiefs are just that good. We watched the Patriots for 20 years. It was like this. It was just be aggressive, flip a coin, and hope for the best.
Well, and literally the last time that Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes, he needed the coin flip.
Yeah.
He needed the coin flip. Seth Kaiser was tweeting out some clips from the AFC Championship game, and that some of the absolute nonsense, garbage, wizardry, bull bleep that Patrick Mahomes was doing at the end of that game to force overtime, and it's absolute nonsense. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Watching it feels broken. It feels like an optical illusion. And that's what they had to do last time. But Brady won the coin toss, and then that was it.
Yep.
This time, by the way,
I don't think the Chiefs defense is going down quite so easily, which is a really nice sort of change of fates. Let's take a break. Whenever we come back, we'll talk about either more Super Bowl things, or maybe I'll let Beards give us 30 seconds of the thing that he's very angry about right now next.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to a gig. And bounce forward with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks. Get started with a reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business, starting at $64.90 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online today. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits per second service and 1 voice line. Early termination fee applies. Equipment installation taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
Coverage of the big game is presented by Victory Chevrolet, Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, CBD American Shaman, and Community America Credit Union.
Hey guys, looking for a new rewarding career? Check out the Operating Engineers Local 101 Apprentice Program. In addition to paid on-the-job training with union construction companies, you'll learn to operate all types of heavy equipment, including cranes, bulldozers, backhoes, graders, scrapers, trenchers, loaders, compactors, pavers, asphalt and concrete plants, drilling and boring machines, and other specialized construction machinery. You'll receive great benefits and a pension plan as well. Call today 816-640-2336. That's 816-640-2336.
Menards has the flooring you need to give your home a fresh look. Check out our great selection of Shaw flooring. Durable laminate flooring can be installed over most floors. Repel Cumberland laminate flooring is water resistant, making it good for any room in your home. Plus, it's available in 3 unique wood grain finishes. It's only $219 a square foot. Now at Menards. Sale prices are good through Saturday, February 13th.
Save big money at Menards.
When you need someone who can really get it out, call Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Dirt, dust, dander, and allergens get embedded deep into your carpets. And they get trapped inside the walls of your air vent system. But you don't have to let them contaminate your home. Zero Res can get it out. Carpets, tile, upholstery, and yes, now cleaning air ducts too. When you want your home clean, you call Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Schedule a cleaning this month and save 21% off of all services. ZeroResKC.com.
What's Valentine's Day all about anyway? This year, whether it's a new crush or your soulmate, make it about love. Give a gift of fine jewelry that can be personalized just for her. Why not engrave the date you met on a 14-karat gold heart? Or give her a gorgeous pendant necklace with her birthstone or a color she loves. Shane Company's natural sapphires have exceptional vibrancy, and we have over a dozen colors. Or build her a necklace of meaningful charms, an engravable gold disc, a diamond-accented letter charm, and a gemstone charm in her favorite color. It's a love letter she can wear every day. No matter your price range, we'll help you personalize any gift. On February 14th, your thoughtful gift will touch her heart. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Harry's Razors just came out with their sharpest blades ever. But unlike other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each. You heard me right, just $2. How do they do it? Harry's owns a German factory that's been honing razor blades for 100 years. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process, from research and development to the factory floor. It allows them to keep the prices lower. How confident are they? A 100% quality guarantee. You'll see it at harrys.com. Blades are even delivered directly to you. No getting unmasked and standing in line. They're delivered straight to your door, with or without a subscription. And right now, Harry's has a great offer for my listeners. New customers get $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at harrys.com. That's a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3, plus free shipping. That's razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for $3, shipped to you for free. Only at harrys.com, only with promo code PETRO.
A great local Kansas City company worked with us here at Union Broadcasting to install new carpet. A&M Flooring. The job they did was fantastic. They were able to install our new carpet in just 3 days. They were very professional and their service was outstanding. We couldn't be happier with A&M Flooring. A&M Flooring has been building relationships and working with flooring manufacturers for 30 years, and it shows. Stop in today and say you heard them on 810 to get a 10% discount. A&M Flooring, off 135th and Flum, next to Sherwin-Williams.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Give D Ford my groin.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, Beards is angry. Not that that in and of itself is new, but or even newsworthy. But Beards, do you want to just explain your angst for the people?
Sure, I can do that. Give me 1 second. So the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers are currently playing on TNT. The Denver Nuggets, who usually wear nice blue jerseys, are currently wearing red. The LA Lakers, who have a very distinctive, iconic jersey of purple or yellow, or on Sundays, white, are currently wearing blue. What's going on? Why? Why are we doing this?
I've got a clip of it on my screen right now. It's very, very odd. If you like blurt out the faces and stuff, and you just like, it looks like an all-star game, honestly. The red on blue looks like an all-star game. Rudy, a resident Nuggets fan, how do you feel about the Nuggets' red uniforms?
I mean, they're bad jerseys. I just the idea that Beers is just like that this really is bothering him. It's just.
Are they bad
just shakes
jerseys,
my
or are
head.
we just annoyed at them because they're the Utah Jazz's
yes,
jerseys?
I probably wouldn't mind them if it wasn't for the fact that this is just the Jazz's jersey, but with a skyline on them from last year. Absolutely.
It is not limited to just these two teams, by the way. I have this on the Shot Clock review a little later.
You just don't like the City Edition jerseys? You're just a grumpy old man?
Yeah.
There are some bad ones.
It doesn't.
It is incredible the things that get under your skin, Beards. Beards literally said before the last segment, he was like, I'm mad about what's on TNT. I'm mad at the Nuggets and the Lakers, he said. I went, why? And then he said all the things he just said now. But listen, you got something there, Beards. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that you're also a grouch. Randy Grimes, former Buccaneer, next.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Sports Radio 810 WHB is your home for the best Chiefs coverage. Hi, everyone. This is Kevin Harlan. Listen all week to live Chiefs coverage with head coach Andy Reid, quarterback Patrick Mahomes, tight end Travis Kelce, and the rest of your favorite Chiefs players. Then, listen to 24 hours of pregame before listening to me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner as the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, it's Kevin Keatsman for Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC in Excelsior Springs. Online at robertsrobinson.com. I got to be honest with you. One of the great things about representing Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC is the perks. You know, Mike's a good dude. I mean, these are really good people that treat everyone well. They've been exceptional to me. And he called me up and he said, hey, you know, we do this shop, click, and drive, and we deliver cars right to people if that's what they want to do. Or we'll service their own cars by driving them to their house and picking them up. He says, how about if I take a Sierra Denali and drop it in your driveway and you drive it for a few days? I said, hey, you don't have to do that for me. And he said, I want to do it. I said, great. The second I got in this bad boy, I took it right over to my buddy's house. The guy you can't mention on the radio, he's got a Sierra Denali that he's had for several years. And I just went over there and rubbed it right in his face. I said, look at this baby I got from Roberts Robinson. He looked at me all cross-eyed. I loved it. It's a great perk of this deal. But you know what? You can get the same great perks because they treat everyone great at Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC in Excelsior Springs. Online at robertsrobinson.com.
Winter is coming, so plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Exterminators. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine Exterminators is a family-owned, local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. In fact, check out their amazing reviews from all their KC area customers. They're also a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. So call today at 913-359-8627.
Whether you're looking for energy savings for the winter or updating your home office or man cave, One Stop Decorating is the place for beautiful, energy-efficient window coverings. One Stop Decorating offers free in-home or virtual consultations, or you can come into one of their 3 beautiful showrooms to see all the window coverings in their Hunter Douglas galleries. Ask about smart shades that can be controlled by Google, Alexa, and HomeKit. 913-270-0408. 913-270-0408 or onestopdecorating.com. Your home, your windows, your style.
WHB Kansas City. Rider on the NBA scoreboard right now in LA. The Nuggets lead the Lakers 45-37. Second quarter, Jamal Murray has 8 points. The game available on ESPN Radio, and it's on the ESPN app as well. Fourth quarter in Memphis, Rockets lead the Grizzlies 91-74. Blazers defeat the 76ers 121-105 in Philly. Portland winning without their star backcourt. Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum out with injuries. Carmelo Anthony scored 22. Jazz looking to continue their winning ways.
Bogdanovich, backdoor cut, beautiful catch. Ball fakes, lays it up and in. Boyan's got 21. The Jazz 104-79.
Call it 97-5 the zone. Boyan Bogdanovich, 21 points. Utah, a 112-91 win at Atlanta. The Jazz have won 13 of 14. They're 17-5 on the season. Dallas drops to 9-14 on the season. And they didn't play much defense tonight. Golden State, a 147-116 rout at Dallas. Golden State with just 9 players available. Kelly Oubre scored a career-high 40 points. The NBA and the Players Association will have a finalized agreement by next week for an All-Star game to be played in Atlanta on March 7th. ESPN obtaining a league memo. In college basketball, top-ranked Gonzaga 17-0, a 72-56 lead at Pacific. Gonzaga trailed by 1 at the half. Number 7 Ohio State comes back from an 11-point second-half deficit for an 89-85 win at 8th-ranked Iowa.
Coming up Friday, the Super Bowl is almost here. We've got 1 day left to break it all down, and I will tell you the one player to watch on Sunday, not named Patrick Mahomes. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
They're getting pressure on 43.8% of the time good God, per Pro Football Focus
on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Joining us now to continue our Super Bowl week coverage is a man who's been a member of the other team, also has a heck of a story to tell with a lot of twists and turns to it that I think you'll really appreciate if you haven't heard from him so far. Randy Grimes joins us now. Randy, thank you for taking some time for us here in this Super Bowl week. What's it been like for you seeing the old team here this whole season with Brady, all the weapons, and the place that they're at right now?
Oh, you know what, man? I am so excited at, going out to dinner around the town and, just feeling the electricity in the air and the excitement. I've got to think back how those fans, even, way back in 1983, my rookie year, when we were still in the creamsicles and the sombrero was 110 degrees, and how they would come out, game week after week, game after game, and they would support us. They would suit up and show up with us there in the stands, and through some pretty lean years, to say it kindly. But
I wanted to,
that's the kind of fans that they were. So I'm excited for them that they're having this experience.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about Tampa as a football city. You already kind of gave their bona fides, because my family actually just moved down to the Tampa area from Kansas City about a year and a half ago. So right now they're in the middle of some things with all of that. But I've only heard good things from the Tampa side so far. I'm so glad you mentioned the creamsicles, because I've got some of your old football cards up on my screen right now. Do you wish that they would have gone back to the creamsicles, or are you happy with how things went here?
Well, Well, if color has anything to do with wins and losses, then I hope they don't go back to the creamsicles. But I sure did love those uniforms, and of course that's how I associate the Tampa Bay Bucs with football. And everything I have, obviously, all my memorabilia and everything is creamsicle. But I'm just proud of this team. I'm proud of what everybody's accomplished, but for the fans, that's who I'm most excited for. And you can feel it in the air, man. Being on Radio Row the last 2 days, it's like a ghost town around there. It's not anything like what it usually is, but when you leave there and you go to a restaurant or you go to the mall or you go, anywhere shopping, it's just, you can just feel the electricity in the air, and it's just a great atmosphere and a great vibe. And, congratulations to the fans over there.
Yeah, it ought to be an absolutely fantastic matchup. One thing on the field that I wanted to ask you about is with, a decade of playing mostly center under your belt, one thing that I just don't think most people, myself included, have a very good understanding of is exactly how much that job in the middle of the line entails and how many things are all happening pre-snap and how many adjustments happen from the huddle to before you do hike the ball. Do you think that that's fair? Do you think that usually slides under the radar? And how do you explain that to people who never played the position?
Well, I don't think you can. I don't think you can ever explain what the quarterback's going through from the time he breaks the huddle and he's walking to the line of scrimmage and looking over the defense. The center's doing the same thing. The center's determining the defense. The center's determining the strength of the defense. He's pointing out linebackers. He's getting other linemen going in the right directions, going to the right person. He's changing blocking schemes there. The center is the quarterback of the offensive line. So those two guys walking to the line are just trying to identify as much as they can and get everybody going in the right direction and put not only his teammates, his line mates, in the best possible situation. There's a lot going on there, believe me.
Yeah, how much did that change? Like, how much easier did that get for you over the course of your career from, first couple of years in the league to the last couple of years? How different was that in terms of just like your processing power, if you will?
Well, some teams, obviously, they ran a more basic defense than others. And then you would have the Chicagos and the people that were throwing, all kinds of creative things at you. So as long as you were prepared and it wasn't something that they put together at the last minute during the week before you played them, you'd already watched a lot of film on them. You'd already watched previous games from probably the last 2 years. So you knew pretty much everything they could possibly do. So it shouldn't shock you. It's the things that happen at the last second, right before the snap. Those are the things that you get in trouble with. And that's where you just got to be an athlete and adjust.
It's such a fascinating position. And the fact that there are just so many moving parts all across the field, I feel like I have never gotten to the point where I feel like I know nearly enough about all of the intricacies. But I appreciate you trying to make it easier for some of us who never got to do that. Randy, if you will, tell us a little bit about the story that I know you've told so many times across Radio Row, across the last several years. But it's a really powerful one. I know it really has directed the thing that you're passionate about doing now.
Well, and I always started off by saying, I was that guy willing to do whatever I had to stay out on the field. The first thing I learned when I got into pro football is that it wasn't a game anymore. It was a job. And the second thing I learned was you do whatever you have to stay out there in your position, because if you're not, somebody else would be. So, I started taking handfuls of pain pills every day to practice through the injuries and play through the injuries. And, back in my day, it was that junction boy mentality, that warrior mentality, where if you don't practice hard, you're not going to play hard. So we're going to practice you until you don't have anything left, so you'll play hard on Sunday. And, it was the craziest mentality in the world. We would beat the crap out of each other all week and just barely have enough left in our tank to play on Sunday. But I was also grateful to be in the game. I loved the game of football, and I wanted to – I didn't want to get that reputation of always missing practice or always being on the injury report or always being worked on in the training room. So I was taking handfuls of pain pills every day and staying out on the field. And I looked at it like a necessary evil. I looked at that these are just ways I justified a full-blown addiction, but I was calling it a necessary evil, because I was getting it from team trainers or team doctors or teammates or fans, So that's how I justified continuing to do that. And, I just never thought I would take that necessary evil that I was doing to be the best center that ever played the game, to play the game forever, to feed my family. I never thought I would take that necessary evil into my private life. And of course, when I retired, that's when things really spiraled out of control. You know, my injuries just got worse, the chronic pain just got worse, and my addiction just got worse.
You don't strike me as someone who in any way is going to ever shed responsibility for things. So I don't want to kind of like make that implication, but do you think that the culture around the NFL at that point, I mean, you were justifying it as a necessary evil. I know you've worked with a lot of other former players who have had these issues. It seems like the sport itself, the league itself has pushed a lot of people to have similar issues, to fight through everything to get back on the field no matter what. Do you ever, dive into that side of things and wonder what the sport and what the league could have been doing, and maybe could be doing differently in the future to keep this from happening to others?
Well, and I think, ever since I got sober back in September of 2009, I've always advocated to the NFL through my nonprofit of Pro Athletes in Recovery. I think a lot of changes have been made. They are more responsible and more accountable with how they prescribe narcotics now. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, but the DEA was following around team doctors as they were prescribing in other states, and they kind of put a stop to all that. And the main thing was that the DEA and different organizations were making them be more accountable. And, to some extent, I think it still exists today because that warrior mentality still exists in the league. But at least it's not that North Dallas 40 mentality, that it was back in the 80s and early 90s. And you said something that I forgot to say, and I always do, because I never hold the NFL or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers responsible for my addiction, but it was available. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That seems outrageously fair. That seems like a very, very fair way of putting it. Why don't you tell us, before we have to let you go here, Randy, about the book and the stories that are in there and who that book is really for?
Yeah, you know what? I wrote this book, and I was going to tell my whole story, how I got to Tampa, my experience in Tampa and in the NFL after Tampa, and what I'm doing now. And as I began writing this thing, I started to include my family, and it was the best idea I've ever had in my life, because it was a healing process for everybody who was affected by my addiction. And it was just it was a beautiful platform for everybody to have and to contribute. There was a lot of things that happened that, of course, I don't remember because I wasn't even mentally there. But it was just a great experience for my family, and even if the book's a flop, at least we had that. And it's called Off Center. It'll be out this summer, and also, anybody looking for me, I always talk about what Pro Athletes in Recovery does for the Player Care Foundation and how we put guys into White Sands Treatment Center in Tampa, Florida. But I want anybody to know that this is for everybody. Anybody seeking help from the disease of addiction, I'm here for you. Our organization is here for you, and you don't have to live like this anymore. And you can find me at proathletesinrecovery.org or randygrimespeaks.com or White Sands Treatment Center.
And then the book Off Center coming out this summer. Randy, thank you very much for your time, your insight, and your story. And I hope we get to talk to you again next year on this time.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Go Bucs.
Whoa, no, that's not allowed here. Randy Grimes, former Buccaneers center, and check out Off Center and proathletesinrecovery.org.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Thank you for a fantastic 2020 and trust in Victory to buy and service your vehicles during these unique times. Folks, Victory is your #1 customer-rated dealership in the Metro with 4.8 stars on Facebook and 2,200 Google reviews at a robust 4.7-star rating. Come by the dealership for a no-hassle demonstration from one of my expert certified sales managers and see why we come so highly recommended. Just released, the 392 Hemi and electric vehicle Jeep Wrangler are now available for order. The all-new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L is here, and it's a showstopper. Don't forget about the 2021 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the 700 horsepower Ram TRX. Come drive the Jeep course, say hello, and see for yourself why we're all excited for 2021. Visit us at Kansas City's only automotive outlet mall, the Legends Auto Plaza, on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, just east of Nebraska Furniture Mart, or online at victorymotorskc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Hot Tub Sale. We have hot tubs coming in every week. No need to wait for months. Come get your dream hot tub today. Family Leisure also has pools in stock for spring installation. Don't go another summer without a pool for your family. Come in and see our huge selection of patio furniture. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for pool tables, shuffleboard, bar stools, and home theater seating. All priced to go. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome!
Harry's Razors just came out with their sharpest blades ever. But unlike other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each. You heard me right, just $2. How do they do it? Harry's owns a German factory that's been honing razor blades for 100 years. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process, from research and development to the factory floor. It allows them to keep the prices lower. How confident are they? A 100% quality guarantee. You'll see it at harrys.com. Blades are even delivered directly to you. No getting unmasked and standing in line. They're delivered straight to your door, with or without a subscription. And right now, Harry's has a great offer for my listeners. New customers get $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at harrys.com. That's a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3, plus free shipping. That's razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for $3, shipped to you for free. Only at harrys.com, only with promo code PETRO.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Can't wait for the Super Bowl? Neither can we. That's why Sports Radio 810 is bringing you wall-to-wall Chiefs beginning Saturday at 5. It's 24 hours of Chiefs pregame before Westwood One's presentation of Super Bowl 55.
The Kansas City Chiefs are back in business.
Keep it on Sports Radio 810 for 24 hours of Chiefs pregame coverage beginning Saturday at 5, then the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show at 1 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Take your romance game to a whole new level this Valentine's with Diamonds Direct's most popular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase happening right now. You know jewelry is the perfect gift to celebrate your love. And with this incredible offer, you can afford to go big. Like a $6,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $100 a month. Or a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, just $50 a month. Diamonds Direct has teamed up with the world's top jewelry designers for an expanded selection of Valentine's surprises for any budget. Romantic gifts starting as low as $400. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, colored gemstones. The guaranteed largest selection, highest quality, and always the best value. Whether you shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Make this the most memorable Valentine's ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase, including engagement rings. Now through Valentine's Day. Celebrate your love at Diamonds Direct
at 119th and Row.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Twice you've had good jokes too late. Rudy's had good jokes too early. If you guys could get your timing figured out, if Rudy had the half-second
I'm
hitch,
too lazy for that.
Here's the thing, man. If I could figure out my
you
timing...
both did it again!
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
That liner is so excellent. Here's a tweet that I think is really important that everyone sees, knows, hears about, is able to go read. I've retweeted it at JB Brisco. And it's actually something I was thinking about earlier, and something that came up on the Twitch stream earlier, where
It's long enough ago that I no longer have it in the history, which is fine. But somebody had asked about how they thought it was funny that this year's Super Bowl, I think they said there's no Alabama or Ohio State player, former Alabama or Ohio State player on either roster.
Correct.
Which could be true. Oh, Rudy's confident. Okay, great.
I mean, that is what the tweet said.
I also have the Twitch comment up.
Okay, so who can we cite? What's our source on this exclusive report?
Aspen58, spelled ASPN.
Excellent. So, assuming that they're correct, that's fine. And also that you've got some like D2 dudes. You got Tershawn Wharton out of Missouri S&T, L'Jarius Sneed out of La Tech.
Is Arena still on the Chiefs?
He is not.
Okay.
I do not believe so. I do not believe he's probably still in the league, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
Middle Tennessee State. This secondary's got some deep cuts, by the way.
Cameron Brate went to Harvard. A couple of James Madison kids. Ooh, weird.
Cameron Brate went to Harvard?
Uh-huh. Mike Edwards, Kentucky. Interesting. Blaine Gabbert.
Did you know Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard?
Did he really?
He sure did.
Well, Tampa Bay does not have an Ohio State or a Alabama player on their roster. Can't think of anybody on the Chiefs, but I'm gonna go just to make sure.
I'll take your word for it at this point. Also, Darth Maul asked if we get a visual joke during this show. The whole first segment ended up being about killer snowmans based off of the fact that I've been replaced by a snowman, so I feel like we got ourselves covered on that one.
There's no Ohio State, but there's an Appalachian State. Daniel Kilgore, App State.
And a great haircut.
Mike Pinnell, Colorado State, Pueblo.
There are some deep cuts, and none of those guys. None
Nick
of those
Kaiser
big
went
players.
to Grand Valley State.
You're just basically adding to your future Rolodex. So next time I say Nick Kaiser, you can go Grand Valley State. But there's a tweet from Penn State football that was actually answering a question that I had thought about even before I saw those comments today. Was I wonder if any college has ever been represented in every Super Bowl. Because it was, you know what it was? It was Illinois tweeted out like a graphic of the rings that their alumni had won because Nick Allegretti's got one. He's going for a second. Illinois.
Legend.
And so I thought, I wonder if there's any school that has somebody in every Super Bowl or like at the very least has a grand number of them. And then I saw this tweet during the last break from Penn State football.
Never forget A.J. Jenkins, former Chiefs great, Illinois alum.
I will already forget again.
Chiefs legend.
Who?
A.J. Jenkins. He was traded for Jonathan Baldwin. Legend.
Who? Where did he go to school?
Illinois.
Where?
Legend.
Who went to Illinois?
A.J. Jenkins.
Where did he go to school?
Illinois.
Penn State football tweeted out this graphic.
Where am I?
It's got what time is it? It's got a kind of like a fake football player, like a uniform kind of hype, like zoomed in shot. It's got this graphic.
Yeah, because it can't be an actual Penn Stater because,
name, image, and likeness.
Have no money.
Right. So here's what this graphic says, and I'm going to try to do it justice. I could not urge you enough at JB Brisco on Twitter, really just in general. You need to see it to get it fluid. I'm going to try to explain. Kind of a visual joke in an audio medium. It says, a Penn Stater has appeared in like a normal font you can read, and then in a huge font, every, and then a slightly smaller version of that font, but it's bigger than the first line, says Super Bowl. And these are all these big kind of like collegiate block letters. A Penn Stater has appeared in every Super Bowl. And then in basically in the font that is at the bottom of car commercials, it says "Do not attempt professional driver closed course."
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom, it says "except for 5 since 1967."
I never noticed that. I was wondering why I was trying to understand your tweet, because I was like, what? Well, I was like, I assumed, is it the way they're saying Penn Stater? Is that funny? I was like, is it? Am I missing something?
Yeah.
By the way,
yes, I was missing something because I did not see except for 5 Super Bowls since 1967.
It's in 4-point font.
That is wild.
I put the tweet up on the stream so that people can see it. It's very funny.
To be fair now, the Chiefs have won every Super Bowl since 2020.
That's exactly
Rudy,
right.
Rudy, you weren't quite up here. Hang on, we're gonna do this again. Give me one. No,
Okay,
wait. Let me get this.
okay.
Let me get the video back.
Okay.
Okay. Say it again.
The Chiefs have won every Super Bowl since
2020. What are we doing? What are we like? The funniest thing is that Rudy literally
did not see it.
did
No
not
clue.
understand the joke.
Not a thing.
I think that's what Penn State was going for there. Is
Yes!
people
It
not
works.
seeing it.
It works.
The fake Ned on Twitter had maybe my favorite quote tweet of him so far, which just says, "I am my ideal weight if I were 14 feet tall." It's so strange. It's just so bizarre.
But I now understand your tweet more because you have this tweet should be shown in schools as an example of how not to tweet.
In tiny little font down there.
It makes more sense now.
But like
I totally got it all along, except that I didn't.
I mean, it's literally structured in the way that it would if it said, "A Penn Stater has appeared in every Super Bowl." Terms and conditions apply. Like, it is seriously, legal disclaimer here about the dangers of gambling and blah, 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 except for 5 since 1967.
May cause death.
Someone just tweeted me, "I've never done drugs," except for those 4 years of college and then some other years after that. We did really good radio shows every day this week, except for that first hour on Monday. And we didn't have a show on Tuesday. But other than that, everything's been good.
And Friday's still up in the air, but we'll see.
We'll take what we can get one step at a time. Every Super Bowl! It's just very strange. It's just very... Because, like, you could have... Like, there's a certain friend of the show, dead to the show, who may or may not have suggested the Z-Man on Toast, who quote tweeted it and said, "A Penn Stater has appeared in 91% of the 100% of Super Bowls." Which, assuming that math is correct, which seems about right.
But Josh, which number's bigger?
Just say it that way, right? Like, I think that that zombie is making as a joke, but it also would be a better way of saying, like, or to say, you know, a Penn Stater has appeared in 50 out of 55 Super Bowls. Is like remarkable. Like, that's a great stat. But it looks like they're ashamed of the 5 they missed now.
I would be.
Because it might be the most, right? Like, that might be the most Super Bowls a college has had, you know, a player in it, right? Like, that could be the most.
Yeah,
So,
I mean...
You know, celebrate that.
Also, I have a question. Why does it say since 1967? Because Super Bowl I was in 1967. So you can just say they've been in all but 5 Super Bowls.
Well, maybe they weren't in the one in 1967. They didn't have anybody to play in that one.
Holy bleep.
So
Can you
then
imagine if it's actually 6?
Okay,
Here's the thing that really bums me out, is that this graphic took like 4 hours of work for some unpaid intern at Penn State football. Like, they really had to dig in, and they were going through
Somebody in the
depth charts.
graphic design department?
No, I mean whoever had to research this thing, because they probably had a few easy ones, right? But you're like, well, all right, so we'll start at 1. We'll look at the rosters, and all right, did he go to Penn State? Yes. Okay, excellent. All right, 1 check, 2 check, 3 check. All of a sudden, you're on 37 or whatever, and you're like, oh darn, I didn't find one here. We'll just mark that one as another one where there was not a Penn Stater. And then you got to quadruple check it. What about the practice squad? Do they have to be active? What if they're a game day inactive?
The Chiefs did not have a member from Penn State University on the 1967 team, but they did have 2 players from Prairie View A&M, Mr. Otis Taylor and Jim Kearney.
I imagine I hate to even say this because I know that I am very likely about to be outed as a fool. Not that that's something I'm uncomfortable with at this point. Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I know my brand.
Green Bay Packers, Dave Robinson, Penn State.
So you're going to reconstruct this then. That's your new bit is checking their work.
I was just curious if they had it was a first. Bob Long, Wichita State.
Bob Long
got some shockers in there. Go Bob Long.
Do you know who this is what I'm afraid I'm going to say something foolish. Who's the Penn Stater in this game? You said there wasn't one on the Chiefs. No, you were in Super Bowl 1. Never mind.
Yeah, there was not in Super Bowl 1. For the Penn Stater in this Super Bowl is a Mr. Stefan Wisniewski.
Oh,
he is the
he was also
the Penn Stater.
He was also the last one then, at least.
Yes, he obviously was in the Super Bowl last year. I don't know if anybody else was. I just drew a line blank.
He was the guy that kept the intern from having to go through San Francisco's roster, basically. Yeah. And kept them having to go through Tampa's here.
So I'm going to do it for him. Let's find out.
Let's not. You want to go through... You want to spend the next 30 minutes?
It's actually really easy because you just get to their page and then you just sort by college and you just go to the P's. It's actually very simple.
What? Are you on Pro Football Reference?
I'm on like the team's website. I went to Pro Football Reference for the 1967 teams, but for everybody else, I've just been going to their website. Pro Football Reference did pop up first though for the 49ers, so I just clicked on it because it's the first one. That's a weird sound.
Yeah, I moved my mic. I've got this boom mic stand thing in my home studio that I'm currently in as I'm waiting for. I say home studio. It's my office.
Also, looking at like the rosters of like 1967 teams was weird because I'm like, some of these players were drafted twice. And then you remember, oh yeah, different leagues, different drafts.
Do you want to try to guess? Don't look at the Chiefs' current roster. It looks like there are 4 schools. I believe there are 4 schools that have 3 players on the Chiefs roster.
LSU.
Wait.
You're good at this.
Wait. We have music.
Hold on. You want the music?
Yeah, I've got the music ready.
All right, hit the music. All right, so this game, is this one royalty free? I don't know if we can use this one. Okay.
Yes.
This is yes.
By the way, Kevin Givens played for the 49ers last year, Penn State.
So what did I say? 4 schools with 3 guys on it?
Yes.
Bonus points if you can name them all. LSU is obviously
LSU, Darryl, Clyde, and oh goodness, Darryl, Clyde.
Oh boy, this is why I'm glad I'm not playing this game because I would be getting killed right now.
Clyde.
Beards,
and the Honey Badger. The Honey Badger.
And the Honey Badger. Yes. Brain farts happen.
Yeah,
Brain farts happen. We're on live radio.
Okay, yeah. So LSU was easy.
Yep. I'll give you some hints whenever we feel like we need them.
Okay. Is there an SEC school in there besides LSU?
There certainly is. There certainly is.
Okay. Oh man. I mean, I know it's not Alabama.
It's not Alabama. That is correct.
Alabama.
Ohio State.
It's also not Ohio State, nor is it Penn State.
Wow,
that one.
KU.
This is tougher than I thought it'd be.
It is not KU.
Is it Harvard?
SEC. I'll tell you what, Rudy. You can get some real help across the defensive
I know
line.
That too.
Think about the defensive line.
Okay. Defensive line. Wait, are you sure are you sure defensive line?
I am 1,000% sure.
Like there are multiple guys from the same school on the defensive line?
One of the schools, yes. One of the schools has 2 defensive linemen.
Okay, Derek Knighty went to Florida State. Chris Jones went to Mississippi State. Who else is from Mississippi State? Are you mixing up Tre'Davious Warden with Missouri or S&T? Okay.
Any rookies? Did they draft anybody from Mississippi State in the 2nd round this year?
Oh, see, I was thinking other defensive linemen. Okay.
Well,
we got Chris Jones, we got Willie Gay, and we have...
I'll be impressed if you get this one.
Oh,
honestly.
Man. Okay. Chris Jones.
Martinez Rankin. Let's keep it moving.
Martinez Rankin. Yeah, I would never would have got that.
No. So
I knew it.
There is another school with 2 Chiefs defensive linemen and 3 total players from their school.
Oh, boy. Really testing me here.
BYU.
Oh, damn. You know what? No, I'm wrong. There's one school with 4, and it has 3 defensive linemen if you count the injured reserve.
Michigan. It's Taco Charlton, Mike Dana, Frank Clark.
So there's one more, baby.
So
not a
BYU.
defensive lineman.
No, not BYU.
Not a defensive lineman, I can tell you that.
I'm guessing he's on the offensive side of the ball.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
He spoke.
Not Junior Hemingway.
He's been at the podium a little bit. Spoke to the media this week even.
Did Junior Hemingway resign?
No.
Are we sure?
Chad Henne.
How did I forget about Henne?
By the way, before people tweet me, Patrick Omame on the practice squad is also from Michigan. Darrell Williams, the offensive lineman, is also from Mississippi State. And Alabama, Derek Dieter may, in fact, bring them around.
Now, does he count for Alabama or does he count for Bowling Green?
He's listed as Alabama on the Chiefs roster.
Because he finished at Alabama, yeah. He started off at Bowling Green, though. But he did finish it. He left Alabama. He graduated from Alabama.
But if you do include the IR, you get Taco for 3 defensive ends from Michigan along with Chad Henne. But active roster, just 3. So it's LSU, Michigan, Mississippi State, and I believe I said there was one more, right?
Yeah, you said there was 4 that had 3.
And that was before I redid my math on Michigan.
Yeah. But 4 with at least 3.
That is what I said, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you having a hard time
I got
finding
it
the
again.
fourth one? Okay.
Yep, I got it again.
Clemson.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. It's Clemson.
Tell me the 3.
It's Bashad Breeland.
Yes.
Oh boy. Oh, Sammy Watkins.
Yes.
Oh man, who is the third one? Offense or defense?
Defense.
Okay. Dorian
Oh,
O'Daniel.
you almost got it. Yes.
I kept wanting to say
Correct.
DJ. I was like, no, I know it's not DJ. Dorian O'Daniel.
Perfect timing. The music just ended.
Heck yeah. I did better than I felt pretty good about my performance. Not bad. Solid.
There are definitely some people screaming at the radio or like phones or
Yeah,
whatever.
for
That
sure.
that is a hard game to play on the spot.
The only one
tell you
that
that.
like took me longer than it should have was Honey Badger.
They have a Middle Tennessee and Middle Tennessee State player between Charvarius Ward for State and Darius Harris for Middle Tennessee.
No Middle
That's
Tennessee
wild.
Tech.
Unfortunately, no, it doesn't appear to be it. Not on the active roster. I'll tell you when I get down to the practice squad.
Darn.
Good game.
Good game. Good
That was
game.
a good game.
Good game. Good game.
Can I tell you a crazy stat that I
I'd
heard
love that.
today?
I would love that.
You know when the last time Patrick Mahomes lost a game by double digits?
Yeah, to 2016.
I hate you. Iowa State. It's not fun when you just like know right off the bat.
That's why Beards is the guy you got to ask those questions to.
Fair
Ask it to
point.
Beards.
Hey, Beards,
Ask
you know
it to
when
Beards.
Patrick Mahomes lost his last game by double digits?
Just say against the Bills. Say the AFC Championship game.
Was it against the Titans when they ran the ball a ton and were able to keep Patrick Mahomes off
Honestly,
the field?
Beards
Yes.
should have just went right away with 2016.
I
Iowa
thought
State.
about doing that. I thought about it, but you know.
Yeah, like that is wild. It was 2016 against Iowa State
I
because
bet
it's
you Iowa
never
State
happened
ran
in
the
the
ball a
NFL.
Do you know which Kansas City Chiefs player played for Iowa State, Rudy?
Oh boy. Oh, Kelechi Osemele.
Yes! Yes! Hey, cut
Heck
the
yeah.
music. You got it. Kill the music.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Ferris State?
Can't
I
say that
have
I
now.
have. Is that-
Like Bueller
I
or
was
the
gonna say,
Wheel?
Is that where Ferris Bueller went?
Named a school after him.
Yeah.
Donated a lot of money.
Ferris State. Austin Edwards, rookie defensive end on the practice squad.
Go Austin Edwards.
This game was, I don't want to say that it was like,
It was fun.
you know, fun.
Yeah.
But it was okay.
It was good.
We killed some time.
It was enjoyable.
You guys a little. You could play along. You could play along at home.
Yeah, for sure.
You could play along in Twitch. I don't really know exactly how far we got away from it, but I do see that Darth Maul Dad at some point mentioned Steve Breston.
Oh, I forgot about Steve Breston.
I will
Chiefs
never forget about Steve
legend.
Breston.
I
You want to
was-
know where my head was at? And let's say probably 2008, maybe 2009. I distinctly remember the logo that I made for my fantasy football team, which was called the Killer Bees in honor of Bo, Breston, and Baldwin.
Yep, the Killer Bees. Oh,
The Killer Bees.
I was so excited for that receiver. So here, like, there are a couple of like position groups that I've been like just like super excited about in my life as a Chiefs fan that just ultimately let me down. It was the Killer Bees, and it was Patrick Surtain and Ty Law at the cornerback combo. I thought that cornerback. I have both their jerseys, bought them both because I was like, here we go, Patrick Surtain, Ty Law. I've still got them. I got a 23 and a 24. Oh boy. Now we just need to go get draft Patrick Surtain Jr. this year, and I think there's a Ty Law Jr. out there somewhere.
I was just
try it
Googling
out.
Patrick Surtain mock draft to try to figure out where he's projected right now, because think about all of the very old like throwback jerseys that people could yank out of their closet
For sure.
for the Chiefs' new top corner, Patrick Surtain. Does he go by the second? It looks like his jersey has
I believe he does.
II
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of
I
junior.
believe he is. He does go by the second.
The second what?
The second Patrick Surtain.
Looks like he may have gone. He's probably looking like a mid-first round pick right now. He followed the
Yeah.
Chiefs legally have to take him
I
just
think
for all the
so.
jerseys.
There's gotta be a
Let's take
Ty
another
Law
break.
Jr. out there somewhere.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Do you
There's
know that to be true?
I don't, but there also in the draft is Asante Samuel Jr. So I wouldn't mind if the Chiefs just like first two picks, just let's get both the juniors.
I mean, there is a Ty Law Jr. on MaxPreps.com.
Yeah, I went
from
to that.
American Heritage High School in Plantation, Florida.
There's no picture.
It says 0 pounds junior.
Yeah.
So that's got to be tough.
Doesn't look good for his football future.
No. Well, I mean, look. If
He did go 11-2 though.
He's a quarterback, apparently.
He only completed 2 passes for 14 yards, and he did have an interception. It's not
Listen,
great.
He threw 3 passes. 2 of them were completed. 1 of them was picked off. But for an apparition,
I think
a ghost.
I'm gonna claim this profile. You see that this is me button? I think
you
I'm
can click this is me.
I'm clicking it.
That's true.
This is me.
Please
It's
don't.
a sign in. That's too much.
Nikola
Too much
Jokic
work.
just dunked.
Of course he did. He's great.
Where'd Ty Law go to college?
Oh goodness. Why do I want to say Michigan?
That's right.
Ah, yes.
That's correct.
Heck yeah. Wow. I'm impressed with myself.
Where's Patrick Surtain Jr. currently leaving from?
Alabama. That was easy. Asante Samuel Jr.'s at Florida State.
Now, this is interesting. There is a Ty Law Jr. on Twitter that appears to be some sort of scam account tweeting about Fortnite V-Bucks. His avatar is a picture of a screen with a Ty Law Madden like card thing on it.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of retweets to enter giveaways. I've been the Ty Law Jr. on Facebook. And actually, it's like a page you can like. It only has 3 likes though. Ty Law Jr. athlete.
Maybe Ty Law Jr. is not a real thing. I honestly really thought Ty Law did have a son named Ty Law Jr. But it's not looking promising.
Let's see if we can get Ty Law on the show and ask him exactly one question.
If he does, he's off the grid. I think that's safe to say. Ty Law Jr. or Ty Law's kid is off the grid.
I mean,
He's old school. Ground and pounds. Run the football.
I'm now at some.
No cell phones.
I'm now on
The
some
government's
website
watching us at all times.
that doesn't look terribly well researched, I guess, but it does say he has a child, a son named Sydney. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't think that's Ty Law Jr.
I mean, definitely. There's some questionable information on this page, so probably don't take that one Probably don't take that one as gospel. Oh, I've found someone whose Twitter bio says they're the mother of a Ty Law Jr.
Ooh.
It appears. Whoa! Hold on.
Okay. Oof,
Hold on.
LeBron James just airballed a free throw.
Hold on. I've got Ty Law, official Ty Law on Twitter. A tweet from August 2018 says, "My son T_Law24 played his first high school game tonight.
Heck,
First touchdown.
Yes. Did we find him?
He's playing quarterback. Could that be?
Was that
he
him?
weighs 0 pounds.
Was
I
that
don't
him?
know.
We found him.
I don't think so.
We found him.
I
Ty
don't
Law
think
Jr.
so.
exists. We found him.
Oop, well, the tag that he used does not go to a real account anymore. So I have
He's
even
off the
more
grid.
questions than I did before this started. Before this show started, I just don't. I don't feel like we've answered any meaningful questions
No.
here, other than the fact that the
Nope.
Chiefs actually, at one point this year, had 4 active Michigan alumni on their roster,
And 3 played defensive end.
and 3 of them were defensive ends. That's right.
And in the rotation.
And Chad Henne.
The legend.
I think this segment was really, really good pretty much in every single second of it until the last several minutes. Let's take a break.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Hey guys, Soren Petro here. Are you starting the new year right? Are you starting by prioritizing your health? It's what you should do, and I recommend going to the Low T Center. They can get everything started with an annual wellness exam where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. They offer monitored, self-injected home testosterone treatment for $135 a month, self-pay. Just go to lowtcenter.com right now to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Rock your home with new tops from Kansas City's best countertop fabricator, Rock Tops. They custom fabricate and install stone surfaces that will make you fall in love with your home. Making homes look incredible is Rock Tops' thing. Being nice just comes naturally. Rock Tops offers carry-out samples and virtual or in-home appointments. Call 913-782-0802 or go to rocktopskc.com. Mention 810-ROCKS to receive 10% off right now.
Another reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is a cash-out refinance? It's doing a cannonball from your porch.
Watch out!
That new car smell. A new college graduate in the family.
With a BA in business and a minor in medieval Renaissance poetry.
Reading the words, paid in full.
Woohoo! Did it!
At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it for our customers. Right now, rates are at a low 2.5%. Call 913-890-GOLD or visit us online at goldenoaklending.com and talk with an experienced local loan officer who will guide you every step of the way. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
Coverage of the big game is presented by Victory Chevrolet. At Victory, we sell them all. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Online at anthonyphc.com. By CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather. And by Community America Credit Union. Score cash back like a champion with Chiefs checking only at Community America.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Lightstream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options. But only Lightstream was ranked #1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with auto pay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit card consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked #1 for customer satisfaction in personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake. It's LIGHTSTREAM.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR. Include 0.50% auto-pay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
Live coverage from Radio Row is presented by Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, Tickets for Less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
That was bad. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but it was bad. There it is. Hold on. Let me change that. That was bad. I admit it. I'm not sorry.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Forgot to mention this last segment, so I'll do it now. Thanks again to Randy Grimes for joining us at the beginning of the hour from Radio Row. And all of our Radio Row coverage here on Sports Radio 810 has been brought to you by Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, Tickets for Less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City. A lot of great stuff from Radio Row all week long, and we're going to have 24 hours of pregame coverage this weekend, leading you up to the Super Bowl, which you can hear right here on Sports Radio 810. And then this weekend, as soon as the trophy presentation is done, we'll be live with the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show with me at the mic. It should be, last year we had a slightly fuller crew with Brad Porter doing the show with me last year, and he helped push us over the into the end zone, I guess, over the finish line. I was mixing metaphors. We did that show until 6 a.m. last year. I am telling you, I'm not making any promises this year. Also, because if I end up actually having COVID, I make even fewer promises than this. I make negative promises. If I don't know, if I'm coughing by Sunday, COUGHING, not COFFIN. That would be darker.
Sounding real soft right now, Josh.
I'm just saying we'll see what my lung capacity is.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think I'm staying overnight if they win as well. Jason's coming in at like midnight or whatever. So, you're not alone.
But what you're saying is I would be.
You
alone.
are going to be alone.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's in the cards this year. We'll have a great post-game show regardless.
I'm with you, solidarity.
But you're not.
At a distance.
You're not.
At home.
Yeah, right.
In my bed.
You're right. Sleeping.
Yeah.
You sleep here.
Yeah, I think what we'll do, if the Chiefs win, my thought is that we will do post-game until we've played all the audio, we've taken all the calls, and we have said all the things, popped all the party poppers. That's my hunch at this point, but I don't know.
I'll see bright and early 6 a.m. on Monday morning then, Josh.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about the fact that it sounds like we're going into the post-game show kind of just not having Rudy, available at all, and that Beards is already planning his exit. I'm feeling pretty excited about how this is going to go.
Well, I mean, listen, they already won it last year. We don't need to, I'm not going to be here 2 years in a row going all night.
I think that's a reasonable take.
The excitement's over. We already did it last year.
Every 2 Super Bowls we'll do overnight.
Yeah.
1, 3, 5, 7. But then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're going home in a minute.
I mean, I would say 10. We'll change it up. We'll go to at least like 3:30 a.m. because it's a decade's worth of Super Bowls.
Yeah.
We'll do post game. If the Chiefs win, we will do post game until you
I don't
are
know
tired of it.
I don't know if we will, but our replacements definitely will.
No, I meant Sunday.
Oh, okay. I was talking about the decade Super Bowl.
If I get replaced by Sunday, something has gone really wrong, really, really aggressive.
Or good, depending on how you look at it.
Sterling's doing post game now, just so you know. I just got that text.
That's cool. That's fine. He can come take over. He can come take over it. He can have 4 to 6 if he wants to book that. I'm good with that.
Like Josh,
the 4 to 6 shift.
Maybe when you were getting your COVID test, the doctor just put the Q-tip too far up and it punctured a little bit, and now you've got a lawsuit on your hands and you're retired. Hey, that could be good. That's a good outcome.
It was a self swab, so I don't think that one's gonna hold up in court.
Sue yourself.
At 33KSU on Twitter just sent me a graphic that just says a K-Stater has appeared in every Super Bowl since last year. which is pretty good. Rudy, can you give me a quick rundown of the thing you added to the bottom of the Google Doc to close out the show tonight?
So according to a Complex, the magazine.
Nope, just Complex. Yep.
That's what I said. Complex, the magazine.
Oh, you said a Complex.
No. The magazine /
He did.
website.
Don't worry, I heard it too.
Lil Yachty is making a hip hop heist movie based on Uno card game.
Yes!
And news no one saw coming, Lil Yachty is teaming up with Mattel on a movie adaptation of the beloved card game Uno, The Hollywood Reporter reports.
Hey guys, I'd like to skip this one, am I right?
Uno is a game that transcends generations and cultures, and we look forward to partnering with Lil Yachty as well as Coach K, and not that Coach K, and Brian Sure to transform the classic Uno game to comedic action adventure. Yachty says, I played Uno as a kid and still do today. So to spin that into a movie based on the Atlanta hip hop scene I came out of is really special. It hits close to home for me.
Probably gonna walk into that theater and then I'm gonna go ahead and play a reverse and get back out of there.
The film marks the latest project for Mattel Films, which is also behind the Barbie movie at Warner Brothers, and a Daniel Kaluuya produced Barney live-action feature, which have both been announced.
A Barney live-action feature.
Yep.
That movie sounds like a real wild card.
You got one more in you?
Draw 2? Draw 4?
Uno.
Uno. We'll do this right again tomorrow. Bye, Mom.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hi, everybody. This is Matt Llewellyn from 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence. I just want to thank everybody for supporting local restaurants during this time of uncertainty. 23rd Street Brewery is now open until this pandemic is over. And right now, more than anything, local restaurants need your help and support. Come on out and see us. 23rd Street Brewery is open now from 11:30 till 9 o'clock for dine-in and carry-out. Whatever we can do to help you out, maybe with your catering needs, too. I appreciate all the support, and thank you for